Well, the teams are coming out. Listen to the roar. Northern Ireland back in Belfast, back with Michael O'Neill at the helm, and there's a bit of hope. There's a confidence. There's a level of expectation. Whether it's misplaced, whether it's unfounded, we don't know. The next 90 minutes or so will tell us if it's misplaced or not. The two teams lining up just down below us, either side of the match officials. Jim and Tommy will be back with their thoughts at half-time, but in a moment or so we will pause, we will hear the anthems, and then we'll enjoy a first half commentary brought to us, of course, by John O'Neill and Michael McNamee. Like old times, John O'Neill. Feels like old times. They're digging out the songbook, the reception from the green and white army for Michael O'Neill and the players, but it is a very different squad. We're looking really only at the likes of Craig Cathcart, Conor Washington, Shane Ferguson, who remain, and Paddy McNair from the 2016 Euro squad. But the longer the atmosphere can stay like this, and the fans are behind the team, there's a chance tonight.
Yeah, I think there is. You know, there's a stark difference between the last few games here at Windsor Park to even, you know, this first 5 or so minutes that we're here tonight. And you're right, Michael, and I think Michael O'Neill has said it himself. You know, they have to reconnect with the fans here. They've got to get the fans behind them, and it's up to the players now. I mean, again, the noise is definitely here, Michael. I can hardly hear myself talking to you, so it's important that we keep that going, and only the players can do that. And Michael himself says, you know, we've got to play with a bit more tempo, be more direct, put them certainly under more pressure, and get back to, you know, those Fortress Windsor nights we enjoyed during the, you know, the last campaign for the 2016 Euros.
And if Northern Ireland aren't the side that qualified in 2014-15 for 16, I don't think this Finnish team are as good as the one that qualified for the last European Championship.
No, absolutely not.
Looking at the results.
Yeah, I think if you look at the two teams, and we were talking before we've come on here, Michael, look at the players, you know, the mix of the players of where they're playing, some in the American League, you know, some in even the second division in Italy, and you compare that to where our lads are players. They're much of a muchness, you know, and I think it's going to be down to whoever wants it most tonight. I think this is probably maybe the most important game of the group. If we can win here tonight, it gives us 6 points on the board, and I think it's very important to win the home games. And as the lads were talking about, shocking result from Kazakhstan, I think throws the group wide open a bit.
The pitch here is, well, it's had its problems here at the National Stadium at Windsor Park. Sandy, a bit bumpy, but it's dry here, a little bit chilly. Our kick-off will be made by Finland in their white jerseys with that blue cross on the white shirts, blue shorts and white socks. Northern Ireland back in their traditional green
white shorts and green socks. Luminous lime, the referee from Slovakia, Ivan Krysliak. We have VAR this evening. Northern Ireland will be kicking towards the goal away to our right, and we are underway with Bailey Peacock-Farrell in goal. Bradley and Lewis, the wing backs. Ballard, Cathcart and Brown. There's immediately an illegal challenge come in on Conor Bradley there from Antti Suhonen, one of the 3 new faces coming into this Finnish team.
I think, Michael, it's probably going to be a more physical game, if you can have a physical game in today's football, because they play 4-4-2, typical like from Iceland or from the Nordic countries. The one big difference I think between the teams that stands out for me is Pukki, because we know he can score goals, so it's vitally important that we keep him quiet, and I think that the lads in the back, led by Cathcart, have the ability to do that.
And a midfield trio of McNair, Shea Charles, Jordan Thompson with Washington, and 2-goal San Marino hero Dion Charles. Long ball played forward for Conor Bradley, getting forward immediately down that right hand side, and they've won the corner kick inside the first minute, put out of play by Robert Ivanov. It's Radetzky in goal, then a back four of Alho, Väisänen, Ivanov and Jensen. On the right hand side, Suhonen, Lud, Kamara and Schuller, and then Pukki and Shellman up front. Northern Ireland corner on the right hand side. It'll be taken by Paddy McNair. The big men are up. Let's see what they've been working on in training. McNair to the back post. There's nobody there in a green jersey. It's chested down by Suhonen. That didn't work at all. I'm
not sure whether they were expecting Lewis to come on at the back post, because he was the only one anywhere near it.
Shea Charles has turned very well on the left hand side. This is good for Northern Ireland. Ball from Lewis back to Shea Charles. Forward by Thompson, looking for Conor Washington, drilled upfield by the Finnish defence, looking for Pukki to make the challenge on Kieran Brown, who's done well to get the ball back to Bailey Peacock-Farrell, who's all in black. Ballard out to this right hand side, poor ball by Bradley, picked up by Antti Suhonen. One of the 3 changes this evening. 11 is Schuller, the hugely experienced man, part of the squad back in 2015 here. Into the penalty area, touchdown towards Pukki. Pukki battling for it on the edge of the box. Finland have it. Glenn Kamara of Rangers, 50th cap for him this evening, and it's back with left back Richard Jensen. Infield, Schuller across the park. Floodlights are on here at the National Stadium at Windsor Park. Robin Lud, who will present a real challenge for Jamal Lewis and his defensive duties on the Northern Ireland left hand side. Schuller, Finland getting the ball back to Väisänen, one of the big central defenders.
You see what they're trying to do, Michael. They're trying to take the sting out of the game. They're passing the ball around. They're doing it very, very well, trying to keep the crowd quiet.
Finland playing from right to left. Chipped out to the right back, Alho. There's some noise here at the National Stadium. Kamara on the left hand side has support from Suhonen. He comes in field. Conor Bradley watching his every move. Jensen on the left hand side. Suhonen. Immediately across comes Dion Charles. Finns are retaining possession. Kamara infield. It's the balding figure of Timo Pukki. He's lost out on a sliced clearance. I think Ballard's foot got a little bit caught up in that sandy surface.
They've kept the ball very well, but Northern Ireland were patient and then won it, but unfortunately it was a poor ball then by Ballard.
Forward, and out comes Peacock-Farrell, winning his 37th cap, and claims that all in black away to our left. There's barely an empty seat. The little knot of Finnish fans on the far side, the bottom corner of the lower tier of the North Stand, watching as Peacock-Farrell drops the ball just outside his penalty area, kicks it left-footed, looking for Washington, who's beaten by one of the big central defenders. Pukki tries to swing it out to the right-hand side for Finland. Kieran Brown heads it up into the chilly night sky here. Kamara and McNair jumping for it. Falls to the feet of Thompson, who is illegally challenged by Rasmus Schuller, who missed the Danish game with flu. And Northern Ireland have a free kick 10 yards inside the Finnish half. Cathcart, who got the goal in the 1-1 draw, the away leg, the away game in the qualifying campaign for 2016.
We can't keep the ball at the minute, Michael. That's every time we get it, we're just giving it away carelessly.
Radetzky, the Bayer Leverkusen goalkeeper, who's the Finnish captain this evening, cleared upfield, and it's going to be rolled all the way back to him eventually. He's all in orange this evening, kicks right-footed, doesn't make great contact on that. Thompson might be underneath it, chested down by Finland, still inside their own half. As the possibly the worst bits of the playing surface are on this near side. Bradley's done well, the player of the match on Thursday evening, and he has the referee's assistant looks to the referee and gives Northern Ireland the throw in halfway inside the Finland half. We played 5.5 minutes, Northern Ireland 0, Finland 0. Group H of European Championship qualifying for Germany 2024. Conor Bradley winning his 12th cap this evening. 6 goals in 38 games for Bolton tonight. He's looking for movement in front of him.
I was just going to say that, Michael. He's trying to get somebody here. There's no movement at all.
Been told to hurry up by the Slovakian referee. McNair trying to link up. Was a handball. Paddy McNair's well, Jensen was appealing.
Yeah, he's right. It hit him on the hand. Now, whether it's delivered or not, it's hard to know these days whether it's a handball or not.
Play will resume with the Northern Ireland throw-in on this near side, the right. And Josh McGuinness been in the park. I would have thought this would have been a long throw, instead of which Bradley gets the ball back, tries to get to the byline, tries to slot it through past Suanen. Suanen tussling and battling and clearing right-footed upfield. Headers won by Shea Charles. Northern Ireland have it on this right-hand side with Dion Charles. He's well barged off the ball by Kamara, but Dion Charles in turn, he's got strong upper body strength. He's done well to get to the byline, can't quite get the cross in. Might break it eventually for Thompson, squares it, must be, somehow cleared away, 2 yards away from the Finland goal line. Thompson had no right to get that anywhere near a threatening position. Bradley gets the cross in, it's cut out. Kamara prevents the ball from going out of play for the corner, and Bradley just toe pokes it out for a goal kick.
Yeah,
very nearly a goal.
They got away with it there
in the opening 7 minutes.
Yeah, Charles did well. They've gone to sleep. I think the centre half expected the goalkeeper to come out. He was sleeping. Thompson pokes it across the goal, and I think Alho
cleared it all away from the line.
He got it away.
Great opportunity.
Yeah, Finland have settled well, passing the ball well, but it just goes to show you the game can change in an instant with a bad ball or lack of concentration. So
much of Northern Ireland's good work on Thursday night. Sarah Valley was down that right-hand side, and again it looks to be a feature tonight with Conor Bradley pushing up.
Down that side, Michael, gives us a great out all the time.
It's on the left with Jamal Lewis, who played well, delivered that cross for Dion Charles' second goal on Thursday, won the throw-in, a couple of yards inside the Finland half. Michael O'Neill was in a tracksuit on Thursday night, is back in his more recognisable dark suit, edge of his technical area down in front of us.
We've got serious problems from throw-ins here. We just can't find anybody. There's nobody moving for Lewis.
Thompson's there, but he's lost the ball in the tackle. And it's been misled by Finland. That's a poor touch by Dion Charles. Scrappy stuff inside the centre circle, and a poor ball by Kamara. Nice by Lewis, linking up well with Thompson on the left-hand side. Ball in field, looking well. It was a hopeful one towards Dion Charles. And here come the Finns breaking through the middle with Suanen chasing on out to that right-hand side, bringing 3 defenders with him. Corner of the penalty area, works the ball back. Alho's looking at the options as he swings the cross in. He's beaten everybody, and that's a poor ball and picked up by the number 2 for Northern Ireland, Conor Bradley, and he's racing down this right-hand side. Looks up, it's chested well by Dion Charles, controlled but lost in the challenge, and that was a good foot in by Schuller.
As soon as the ball's going forward, Michael, we're just losing it far too easy.
Schuller inside the centre circle, out to the right-hand side. We've played 9 minutes, Northern Ireland 0, Finland 0. Earlier on, Kazakhstan came from 2 down in Astana to beat the Danes by 3 goals to 2. Slovenia took a long time to break San Marino down in Ljubljana and eventually won by 2 goals to 0. So 3 teams at the minute on 3 points. One of them Northern Ireland. The other 2 sides have played 2 games. Northern Ireland looking to make it 6 points from 2 matches alongside Slovenia.
We need to get into the games. Finland are just having far too much of the ball, Michael. You know, they're settling down, they're playing with confidence, and when we get it, every time we get it, we just give it away cheaply.
Everybody's on their feet, making noise at the National Stadium. Finland with possession on that far right-hand side. Dan Kamara to Jensen. on the left-hand side, who was 27 on St. Patrick's Day.
Finland have acres of room. Every time a player gets a ball, he's in tons of room. Nobody closing, nobody getting close.
Alho, the right back, is increasingly getting forward. Kamara, and they've got it out to that right. It's chipped in, looking for Timo Pukki. Ballard with him. It slips past Pukki and into the hands of Peacock Farrell. Bowls it out quickly to Conor Bradley. Bradley always seems to be room in front of him. He just checks himself, waits for his teammates to catch up.
They're not getting into position quick enough for him.
Ballard gets it back to Peacock Farrell.
Bradley's got loads of room down this right-hand side, but every time he looks up, Charles and Washington are too far away.
Long ball looking for Dion Charles on the turn, nearly wriggled free of Väisänen. And the Finns in their white shirts with that blue cross representing the flag.
The same thing was happening on Thursday night, Michael. We couldn't get decent ball into the strikers, and because of that we couldn't get our midfield up the field to support them.
They've lost the last 3 games, scoring only 1 goal, and that came against the Danes on Thursday night through Antman, who's on the bench. John's already preparing his puns and jokes for the arrival of Antman. But I will say that the goalkeeping coach is Antti Niemi, who isn't finished. He's only 50. We've played nearly 12 minutes. Finland on the ball on the halfway line. Chilly evening high here in the gods in the south stand at Windsor Park. It's cut out well by Craig Cathcart. We've seen that Stephen Davis and Stuart Dallas have been around the squad, which has been great.
Yeah.
And I'm sure has been appreciated by all, experienced and young guns alike.
How much has gone, Michael? 10 minutes, is it?
12 minutes.
12 minutes, and it's been all filled in, apart from that one chance where their defence went to sleep.
Kamara chipped through, curled through, but that's an ambitious ball. Lud trying to get in the end of it on the far side, and well marshalled out by Jamal Lewis. Michael O'Neill is out of his technical area and having a word.
He's having a word with the 2 front men. He can't
Washington
be happy with it. Yeah,
Dion Charles,
with what's going on at the minute.
Billy Peacock Farrell is waiting and just throws it to the feet of Craig Cathcart, who takes the goal kick and gives it back to Billy Peacock Farrell. Thompson's come deep. Northern Ireland playing in the back, which can be a nervy experience.
It is, you know.
Hoisted high, and it's a chase on
Washington's
for Washington here. He's done very well. Finds Bradley, gives it back to Washington. There's room now on the right-hand side for Paddy McNair. 3 inside the penalty area in those dark green quartered jerseys. To Daniel Ballard, bright orange boots deep inside the Finnish half. Here's Paddy McNair, slots it down the channel for Conor Bradley. 3 in the area. Bradley can't beat the first man, and the ball is going to play for a Northern Ireland throw. Yeah,
Bradley did well, Michael. He knew that if he hadn't made the tackle there, the Finns would probably have got the throw, and he jumped over the guy and let him knock it out for a Northern Ireland throw. But that's better, you know. We can get in the field, we can get up the field and put them under pressure.
He's only 19 years old, but he has taken to international football like the proverbial duck. And he's taking this throw in a few yards from the corner flag, the Northern Ireland right hand side. There was a little shove in the back there for Dion Charles, and he's making his point to the referee's assistant. But
I think he was looking for it a little bit, Michael. Maybe another day he might have got it, but again, we're really struggling from throw-ins here.
Jensen will take this throw in down by the corner flag for Finland. 14 minutes gone, 0-0 here at the National Stadium. Shea Charles leaves the header to Cathcart, nodded on by Thompson. Shea Charles is up once more. It's a sloppy clearance and put out of play by Ivanov. And Bradley again seeing a lot of the ball like he did on Thursday night in San Marino.
We've got to get more players close to him, because it's the same 2 players all the time who are trying to get the throw in, and there's 4 white shirts around him.
Sean Goss is the man.
That's great play
the squad
by
missing out. And McNair has possession now for Shea Charles infield, and across to Kieran Brown on the halfway line, switching the point of attack to Jamal Lewis. Lewis has done well to beat the first man. Lewis coming infield, offloads to Shea Charles. Charles side foot. I don't think Ballard's expecting that. He does well to deflect it into the path of Conor Bradley. Right-footed cross. He's got underneath that completely and ballooned it out of play.
I mean, that's good play. We get the ball on this right-hand side, very tight, trying to go forward, so we bring it across. Charles brings it out to Brown out to Lewis. come back across the field, Michael, and everything was right apart from the cross from Bradley, which I don't know whether it was the pitch. The pitch looks a little bit bumpy in places, but that one certainly ended up in the stand.
Long ball looking for Pookie to try and get in behind Kieran Brown, hooked away by Cathcart, flicked on by McNair, and Finland keep it alive on this right hand side. And that's the full back, Alho, again looking at the chip ball, offloads on that right, continues his run. That's a low cross and cleared away by the Northern Irish defence and nodded towards Schuller.
Yeah, we're outnumbered over on that right hand side. It was far too easy for it, and again Alho gets in and it's a poor cross which sort of lets us off the hook.
Kamara coming in field. Shea Charles made the tackle but only deflected it into the path of Chelman, that's a terrible ball forward by the Finns, and that's out of play for a goal kick at the minute. They're not really settling the Finns. That was a poor pass, attempted ball through by Robin Lud. Yeah,
Northern Ireland's come into it a little bit now in the last 5 minutes. It's put them off their stride a little bit, but to be honest, there's not much to choose between the sides. There's
only 3 FIFA ranking places between them. Northern Ireland 59, the Finns 56.
Yeah,
the Eagle Isles
showing on the park.
And their manager was a sort of unheralded fella. Played 59 games at centre back, Marku Kanerva. In charge of the under-21s, he had some success and then was brought in to take over the senior squad, and suddenly in qualifying for Euro 2020, Timo Pukki was playing the Kyle Lafferty role.
Absolutely.
10 goals in qualifying.
That's what you need.
Qualified with a win over Liechtenstein, and of course in the Euro finals they won their opening game against the Danes, but that of course will be remembered for the awful circumstances surrounding Christian Eriksen. That was a late put in by Jordan Thompson. Play continues. Thompson is in once more. The ball is broken for Northern Ireland. Washington trying to get an angled ball in for Conor Bradley. Great noise here in the opening 17 minutes made by the home fans. Finland clear, but they're still deep inside their own half, and it's cut out by Shea Charles. Finds Paddy McNair on this right hand side. He's thrown to the fall by Chairman. Conor Bradley's turned very well. Has he won the corner kick? No, he hasn't.
Charles did well, and then Bradley was trying to get in, toss up who was going to get to the ball first, and I think it's just come off Bradley and's gone out for a goal kick.
There was a minute's applause there in the 16th minute. Remember Bailey Hardy, who lost a courageous battle with cancer on Tuesday at the age of just 16. So that was the noise being made by the green and white army for young Bailey. Rest in peace. McNair. It's a crunching challenge in the middle of the park. Ball is broken for Surin. The referee from Slovakia, Ivan Kruzliak, saw that as a foul by Shea Charles, just a couple of yards inside the Northern Ireland half, and that'll be a Finland free kick in a central position.
Yeah, it was a soft free kick. I mean, I think they both run into one another and the ball had gone. He'd lost the ball anyway.
Here come Finland down the right-hand side once more. Alho trying to link the ball through, and an important challenge, blocking challenge by Kieran Brown on Lud at the expense of a Finland corner. I think the first of the match.
We're getting exposed down the right-hand side, and I know we've been critical of Lewis's defending, but to be fair to him, Michael, I think he's getting outnumbered there. Allo and Lud on that side are, combining very well.
19 minutes gone, 0-0. Billy Peacock Farrell has yet to really be called into action. 2 standing over this corner on the far side. Movement in the penalty area. It's been swung in and out. Swinger. Everybody's jumping. That's a fine header won by Cathcart. Sliced ball into the area, cleared away again by Northern Ireland, but the Finns have it. 21 players inside the Northern Ireland half, and again the Finns work it out to that right hand side where they're testing Jamal Lewis, and Lewis has got the challenge in. Has he won the goal kick? He has. Terrific defending by Jamal Lewis.
By Lewis. He needed to do that. He was 1 against 1, didn't dive in, just held his ground, blocked the cross, and it rebounded back off the fin and went out for a goal kick.
Surin is popping up on the left and on the right. He's back on the left-hand side now, but I think they're trying to overload Jamal Lewis with Lud and Surin at the set pieces. We haven't really had that sustained period of pressure, which you see just how good or how bad the back four is at the minute. Cleared upfield by Billy Peacock Farrell. Nodded out of play by Jensen. I think we've got to think about the big balls up the field. The height of their back four. They're winning anything that's
that's knocked up at the minute. We've got to try and get Charles on the ball, get Thompson on the ball, and play it in defeat to Washington and Charles, and then play from there.
Dion Charles slipped on the poor surface and then tried to claim that he was pushed to the floor. Slovakian referee wasn't buying it. Radetzky, the Finnish fans in their white and blue on the far side are really enjoying themselves. Good ball through for Pukki, but Ballard was alive to it, scoops it back to Billy Peacock-Farrell, who clears left-footed. Just a moment of worry with a bubbly pitch when it's played directly back to him. That was inside the Finnish half. Now forward for Dion Charles to try and apply some pressure, even off. Squares at the goalkeeper, and Radetzky clears upfield right-footed.
It was great defending by Ballard. Pukki's a danger man. He saw it. He went with him shoulder to shoulder, got the ball back to Peacock-Farrell.
He's almost unrecognisable. Watch the video of his, I think, first 33 goals last night, and the second one was scored here in 2012. And now Pukki might have been gifted in the way that Chris Brunt gifted him a goal in 2012, but Cathcart made up for his mistake, and that's a nice ball by Ballard through for McNair on the right-hand side. Conor Bradley has continued his run. Bradley's got to the byline. Here's a cross for Bradley. Shot coming in over the top from Dion Charles. Great football by Northern Ireland.
Yeah, it came from a slip by Cathcart. He took his eye off the ball, and Pukki was on it, and it flashed. Luckily, Cathcart got the tackle, got the ball to Ballard. Brilliant ball through, and great build-up then. And unfortunately, as the ball's come into the box from Bradley, Charles just doesn't get his foot over the top of it and skies it into the crowd.
He made himself a favourite almost immediately, Conor Bradley. You remember those crunching tackles when he looked like a schoolboy. He has filled out, he looks stronger, taller, faster, and here he is on the ball again on the right-hand side, wearing the number 2 for Northern Ireland. Ball in field. Dion Charles, 2 goals on Thursday night. He's beaten his first man, beaten his second, done very well. Tried to slot it through to Bradley. He's won the corner. This is good stuff.
This is better. Yeah, he's won it on the edge of the box. 2 men around him. Quick feet. He's tried to slip it through to Bradley, and unfortunately for us, the defender gets in.
This is an unusual one. Billy Peacock-Farrell has come right across to Michael O'Neill, the technical area.
It's got to be something to do with his distribution from the back, because it's been too easy for the Finnish defence to clear the ball.
Jordan Thompson standing over this corner kick on the Northern Ireland right. There's a bus queue of about 4 at the back post. Here comes the corner, nodded away by Finland, nodded back by Thompson, to Thompson by McNair, and Thompson's won the throw-in. Yeah, the ball's come back out to him, and he's had to stretch on that line. It was, done enough to to get the ball back in possession, and then I think it was Kelman was it put it out for a throw-in. Yep. I think we're going to see certainly more structured set pieces maybe than we saw in the Barraclough era. Yeah, they were certainly not the best during that time, and we know that in the past Michael has been... Bradley's done well to get the ball towards Washington, but knocked away by the Finland defence. Headed up by Ballard, who surely was tugged by Pukki there, and their break is on now for Finland with Teemu Pukki on the left-hand side up against the captain Cathcart, looking for white shirts. Pukki on the right-hand side. There's a runner out there, and Alho would have got the ball had not Jordan Thompson stretched out his left boot and made a vital interception. Yeah, Ballard looked to have been pulled a little bit, just over the halfway line, and that caused the break, but great defending by Cathcart, holding everybody up, then helped by Thompson, and eventually get the ball away. We're into the second quarter of the match. Finland have seen a lot of the ball, but Northern Ireland have created more chances, 2 half chances. Yeah. Finland in possession inside their own half. It's funny, it's almost as if we're inviting them on to us, Michael, and we're happy enough to hit them on the break, especially with Bradley, going up and down this right-hand side. I haven't seen as much of Jamal Lewis as an attacking threat on that left-hand side as we did in San Marino, but as you'll remind us, they are the worst team in the world. Yeah, but Slovenia struggled as well, Michael, when they were at home. They are certainly conceding fewer since being hit by 10 by England. Kamara outside the penalty area. Chipped from the right-hand side, looking for Pukki, deflected away via the forehead of Dan Ballard. That really bumpy section the ball is on now on the Finnish left. It's an outswinger by Jensen. Brown did well there because he was caught in no man's land. He wasn't sure whether there was anybody coming in behind him. And Lewis has beaten his man on that left-hand side. Brown plays it back to Peacock-Farrell, clears left-footed. He's all in black with blue flashings now. As Washington get the beating of Evanoff. No, the big defender sticks his boot out and puts it out of play on this near side Northern Ireland throw in.
He's fought him well, you know, and eventually he's forced him to give away the throw in, but he just could not get the ball down. It was bubbling all over the place. He couldn't get it to his feet to get forward.
Shea Charles in midfield. We need to see more of Shea Charles on the ball. It's bumpy stuff, and Thompson goes down on the challenge play. On to the referee.
Yeah, he did well.
He's blown back. He gave Dion Charles the advantage. There was no advantage coming. Thompson's being pulled back to his feet.
Thompson did well in there, Michael.
Free kick.
Yeah, he's done well. He's been strong in there. Got the foul. The referee let play go on, you know, and the possibility that it might have gone through to Charles. But again, I think the pitch was bubbly and he lost control. And good refereeing by the referees brought it back because there actually was no advantage.
I know David Healy has criticised the surface, but it's not in great shape.
It doesn't look it from here.
From March.
You can see a lot of sort of bare patches. It looks bubbly.
So it's in a really central position. Standing over it are Bradley and Jordan Thompson. Chipped by Thompson, the right-hand side, looking for Ballard. McNair down in that little scrummage. That set piece didn't really work, and that was Dion Charles has been penalised for a cruncher on this near side, and that'll be a Finland free kick inside their own half.
It looked like a... Well, no, looking on the replay, I actually did catch him.
How did England-Ukraine finish?
Last I heard it was 2, Michael. I'm not sure how it finished. Joel will tell us.
Group, Malta against Italy. It's been played at the same time. Earlier on, Kazakhstan coming from 2 down to score 3 times in the last 17 minutes against Denmark. And Slovenia beat San Marino 2-0 in Ljubljana. Ballard wins the header from the goal kick. Dion Charles, who's all action, all bustle.
Yeah,
England won 2-0 against Ukraine at Wembley. A 5 o'clock kickoff.
The game's finally balanced here. This first goal is going to be very, very important.
Might be one of those nights for late goal, John. We've been here plenty of occasions in the last 10 or so years. Bradley with a throw-in over the top of McNair's head. Bradley wins the ball back, chested down by Chelman very nicely. It's a tricky, slippery patch there, and the referee's blown for the free kick.
I'm not sure if Suanen went down there.
I think Schuller was asking for the yellow card to be applied, but nothing doing.
I didn't even think it was a free kick.
This near side of the pitch certainly looks worse, doesn't it? Maybe it looks worse because it's closer to us. But it is not a good service for international football. Pookie, middle of the park. He's beaten Shea Charles and got the ball away from McNair. Feeds it on the right-hand side. We can see the Finns always wanting to load players on that right-hand side. Kamara, infield to Schuller. Back to Kamara. There's 4 in the area waiting for a ball in. It's gone to the feet of Lud. Lud squares it. Pookie, he might fall for Chelman, and he's got it. Chelman's hooked it into the bottom left-hand corner.
It was coming, Michael. It was coming down that right-hand side. We just didn't have enough bodies over there, and we weren't closing them down quickly enough. And I'm not sure who was it, Alno or Suanen, on their lovely little feet around the box. And as he's crossed it across the 6-yard box, it was just a matter of who was going to get there. Was it going to be a finish forward or a green defender? And he got the final touch.
Benjamin Chelman came into the team tonight. He's now scored his 5th goal on the occasion of his 11th cap. As the ball beat everybody, it beat Ballard, and eventually it fell to the feet of Chelman, and from 6 yards he just hooked it with his right foot into the bottom corner, and it's 1-0 to Finland in the 28th minute.
And it was coming from that right-hand side. We said all this game that Lud and who was the other one over there?
Suanen used to come across, and Alho the right back.
Alho right back. That was the danger where it was coming from, and we just never seemed to be able to cope with it. Lewis was getting outnumbered all the time over there, and I just don't think that sometimes when the ball's there, we don't close them down quick enough. Keep their head down. Don't let them look up and get a pass. It's too easy for them.
Sheldon was barely featured in the opening half an hour.
Yeah.
Scores a goal with Finland's first real attack. And here they come again. Northern Ireland have been knocked for 6. Kamara, they're on the right-hand side. They're going to have to do something about this. Kamara has got support from Lud and eventually cleared by Kieran Brown only as far as Schuller. Back comes Washington to add some defensive might, but the Finns lead. We've played nearly exactly half an hour, and Benjamin Chelman with a close range effort from 6 yards out, just scooping it along the ground into the bottom left hand corner. And Pookie, I think his deflection as the ball came across just took it away from Ballard's path.
He didn't get a full touch on it, but it was enough just to take it away from Ballard, and Kelman was an easy one then just to tap in from inside the box.
Dion Charles on the halfway line. Now this is a test.
It is a big test, yeah.
Finland
but they've been comfortable, Michael. They've been comfortable on the ball. You know, if you check the stats for possession, it's going to be way in favour of Finland.
Here they go on the right again. Alho, Kamara.
And I don't think we've had enough of the ball to put them under any sort of pressure defensively.
That's a poor ball. Lewis finds Shea Charles, who chips it out to this.
And that's what he can do.
Right hand side, lovely ball.
It's a great ball to release Bradley. We just don't see enough of it.
Infield to McNair. Back to Ballard inside his own half. Infield to Shea Charles. The atmosphere has dissipated a little with that Finland goal. Ballard has put the ball out of play, and
that's
now
the last thing you want. It's sloppy.
This is when you need the experienced heads to G the younger ones. Northern Ireland trailing back a goal to nil. 31 minutes gone at the National Stadium, Windsor Park.
They've 1-0 up now. You know, they've been good in possession, and I think they're going to make it very difficult for us to get the ball off them now.
There's the goal scorer, number 21 Chelman, who takes a dive under the challenge from Cathcart, gets the free kick. It's inside the Finnish half, and I think Markku Kanerva will be quite happy to go in 1-0 up at half time, if that's the case.
Well, at the end of the day, you know, they've been good on the ball, Michael, but they've only had one chance and they've scored.
Home fans away to our left, trying to rally the troops. A raking ball to this left-hand side, might beat Suonen. Suonen jumps to keep it in, does well into the path of the left-back Jensen. A reminder of the options on the bench for Northern Ireland: Hazard and Southwood, the goalkeepers, Trey Hume, George Saville, Owen Toll, Cameron McGeehan. Northern Ireland have won the ball back. That's a good challenge by McNair, infield by Dion Charles, but just tidy up with the two big central defenders, and Kamara has it, and he's fouled by Paddy McNair, and that'll be a free kick. Owen Toll, Cameron McGeehan, who came on for 23 minutes against San Marino. Shane Ferguson, of course, got that goal in the 7th minute against Finland in August 2012, the first goal of the Michael O'Neill era. Isaac Price got the last 8 minutes against San Marino. Matty Kennedy back into the squad. Hasn't featured really in the last 2 years. Dale Taylor, Gavin White and Josh McGuinness, both of whom, those latter two, are renowned at conjuring late goals. Finland in possession. 12.5 minutes left in the first half. They're leading Northern Ireland in Group H qualifying for the European Championships in 2024 in Germany by 1-0. What can Shea Charles do? He's won a free kick. Bad challenge by Schuler. He's been given a last warning from Mr. Kruzliak from Slovakia.
Yeah, Charles was just too quick from him, Michael. Just nips it off his toes as he goes to tackle him. It looks worse probably than it actually was, but he's given a little warning.
So this free kick about the same distance away that the centrally positioned one was a few minutes ago. This one more to the right hand side.
This is a better angle
as Northern Ireland look at it. It's crying out for Ollie Norwood and big Gareth McCauley, isn't it? Well, we can't live in the past. This is Conor Bradley standing over it, and Jordan Thompson. The long line of defenders on the 18-yard box. Here it comes from Bradley. Chip. Oh, that's far too close to the goalkeeper. Didn't work at all.
No, I think a little bit too clever. As a defender, Michael, if I'm standing on the 18-yard box defending that, I want them to play that ball directly. I've always said that if you start move that 5 yards to the right or 5 yards to the left, it totally upsets you as a defender. You've got to start looking to see where the guy you're marking is. But if you just hit it straight in direct, then I'm happy enough to go and head that.
Long ball looking for Chelman down this right hand side, the goal scorer, and he's done well to get past his man. And here goes Chelman. There's two in the area for the cross. Pookie to make it 2-0. Pookie again. Good save by Peacock Farrell. And out of play on the far side.
I think he's given offside, Michael, although I'm not sure whether it was the first attempt or the second, but it was a great, I think it was a saving tackle by Ballard there. Yeah, I think the guys come back on the field for their second rebound, so he's obviously offside. But danger there again, and Ballard had to defend it, and Peacock Farrell did well to make the save, although he was offside.
Peacock Farrell clears upfield with his left foot. Was that
It's offside. Standing offside before the kick.
Dion Charles. And Finland have the free kick on the edge of the centre circle inside their own half. 10 minutes left in the first half. Northern Ireland 0, Finland 1. Benjamin Chelman in the 20th minute. Now the Finns have given the ball away. Appalling play. Washington slots it through, looking for Thompson, gets out on the challenge. Is that a penalty? I don't think so. Home fans think it is. Play continues. Kamara. So. Remember, we do have VAR. Well cut out by Bradley, only into the path of Timo Pukki. Pukki, the edge of the area. He's going to shoot, surely. Oh, he tries to give the flick. He should have had the shot with the right foot. Still Pukki. Kamara. Has the momentum been lost by Finland? Pukki was just too clever for his own good there.
Yeah, he tried to backheel it into the path of the oncoming midfield player.
He was undone with the pitch, I think.
Yeah.
Suonen. Jensen. Back to Schuller. Ivanov to Schuller on the Finland left-hand side. They will keep possession for another 9 minutes quite happily.
We're too deep, mate. We're miles too deep. As soon as that ball's been pushed back to the halfway line, we've got to get our back three up. There's just far too much space for them to move in, and all the time in the world to take the ball and pass it. Like, there we go again. You know, we still haven't moved.
Bradley is noticeably deeper than he was in the opening 25 minutes. And Finland, at the minute, they're keeping the ball off Northern Ireland.
Can't get it. Can't score.
Jensen inside his own half. Ivanov. Nicely done by Pukki. Looking for Suonen, but well done. Shea Charles wins the ball back. Now there's room for Paddy McNair on the right-hand side. Bradley's alongside him. Gives the ball to Bradley. Bradley cuts in field. Shea Charles is there if he needs him. Shea Charles has it. Looks to the left-hand side. Now looks to the right. Lovely ball through for Paddy McNair. Gets to the byline. 3 in the area. Cross in. It's going to break. Oh, Thompson can't get to it. It might still be there. Shot coming in from Washington. Takes a deflection. Was that a handball? The home fans certainly seem to think so. Are we going to have another look at that or not?
I mean, if that's a handball, you know, I would give the game up. I mean, the guy's... The shot is coming. I think it's hit his thigh and maybe it come up and hit his hand, but it certainly wasn't intentional.
Ballard crosses the halfway line on the right and wins the throw-in.
Michael, I mean, we've been saying it since Shea Charles got in the side. Give him the ball, give him the responsibility to make the team play, and if he can do that, we'll get chances. We just don't see enough of it.
Having a look at the shot from Washington,
I don't even think it hit his hand.
It hit Salho's hand.
No.
Dion Charles wrestling, battling with Schuller down under the challenge, being told to calm down by the Slovakian referee, taken quickly by Suonen, but from 3 yards away from where the foul was.
To be fair to Charles, he's battling in there, Michael, but to be honest, he's having to do that because his first touch is terrible at the minute.
18 goals for Bolton Wanderers this season, 2 goals in Serra Valley against San Marino on Thursday night. Finding it tougher this evening against these big Finns. Ivanov takes the free kick. 7 minutes left in the first half, nodded away by Ballard. And Shea Charles, number 19, tussling on the centre spot and almost holding hands. Finnish guy had grabbed him, and that was Chelman, the goal scorer.
Yeah, Charles was too strong for him, and to be fair to him, he was quite happy for him to pull him down and get the free kick.
Taken quickly by Cathcart, looking for Washington, sort of flicks off his shoulders. I don't think Conor Washington was ready for that. It's been a tough 39 minutes so far for Conor Washington.
Yeah, they're big lads at the back, and to be fair, their service there, they're having to battle the guys all the time. Very, very few balls have come into them to feet where they can actually turn or they can lay them off.
2 group games in, this is already a must-win, and Northern Ireland are currently trailing in this must-win against Finland by 1-0. Kamara, Alho, infield to Chelman. Chelman's being bundled Down by McNair, he gives the ball back. That was a fair challenge. And Billy Peacock, Farrell's first touch. He was nearly caught in possession by Teemu Pukki, but did well.
I mean, that's heart attack.
Hearts and mouth.
That's heart attack.
Now, Lewis, not a great first touch, and goes down onto the challenger. Referee's having a look. Ball's out of play. It'll be at the very least a Northern Ireland throw in.
Yeah, I think Allo was a little bit unlucky there. Charles actually miscontrolled the ball, and he's just knocked it by him, and it was more of a collision than anything. It was definitely a free kick, but not much more than that, Michael, to be honest.
Home fans looking for a yellow card, I think, for Nikolai Alho. It is a free kick, quickly taken by Thompson. Washington, left-hand corner of the penalty area. He'll give it back to Jordan Thompson on that left-hand side. 5 in green shirts in the area. Here comes the cross, knotted up by Lude. At the back post is Paddy McNair. Still 5, 6 green shirts in and around the penalty area, waiting for the ball in. McNair gets it back to Cathcart, all the way back to Shea Charles inside the centre circle. He tries to pick out Kieran Brown, who's in an advanced position. Brown controls it very well. Back with Jordan Thompson. 4.5 minutes of normal time. Back to Cathcart inside the centre circle. To McNair on the right. Bradley's asking for the ball to be played in. Instead, he gets it from Washington. Bradley couldn't just control it. And when he was in a dangerous position, he just couldn't put his foot in the ball and was out of play for a goal kick.
It was a great ball in from Washington to Thompson. You know, Bradley's made the third man run in there. The ball from Thompson was brilliant, and unfortunately Bradley just couldn't get control of it inside the box.
How the home fans would love an equaliser in the last 4 minutes of the first half. Upfield by Lukas Hradecki, the Bayer Leverkusen goalkeeper, winning his 83rd cap. Played in both the games in Euro qualifying for 2016 against Northern Ireland. Beaten twice by Kyle Lafferty here in the home game for the men in green. Schuller does well after a poor first touch to work it to this left-hand side, and Jensen finds Suonen up against Conor Bradley's bags of energy. Has Bradley back to Jensen, infield to Schuller. Kamara.
It's too easy, Michael.
Finns are doing well to retain possession inside the Northern Ireland half. Jensen. A little slip on this near side. I think again the pitch beating Suonen. A tussle with Conor Bradley. The referee is in immediately. He's going to have a word with both.
He's picked the wrong one, hasn't he? Yeah, Suonen's totally miscontrolled the ball and has gone out for a throw in, and then both of them sort of run into one another on the touchline.
Feisty one.
Yeah.
Is young Conor Bradley. We like the cut of his jib. Throw into Northern Ireland. 2.5 minutes plus stoppage time left in the first half. They're trailing by a goal to nil. Finns scoring with their first attack, the 28th minute. And Northern Ireland finding it a lot tougher than they did in Sierra Valley. Forward by Suonen, headed away by Kieran Brown outside his penalty area. Breaks off Kamara, and it's now with Jensen on the left inside the Northern Ireland half. A lot of the game in the last 5 or 10 minutes has been played inside the half, away to our left-hand side, with the team in white and blue in possession.
Yeah, they dominated possession for most of the game.
Michael O'Neill is going to earn his money at half-time. Whether it's firing players up, issuing instructions, making changes, we shall find out. At the minute, there's just over a minute of normal time left to play, and Jensen's got away from Bradley, but there was Shea Charles, who's done well, and Shea Charles has failed Bradley. There's room in front of Conor Bradley. Bradley now advancing towards the penalty area, slots it through, chance for Dion Charles, great save Hradecki, close in, and that was a chance. Brilliant play, brilliant ball by Charles, great run by Bradley, and it was nearly Dion Charles' third international goal in the space of 4 days.
It was a great ball by Bradley, and Charles is on to it. Goalkeeper's done well. He's closed them down very quickly and got a big right foot on. Maybe Charles a little bit disappointed he didn't get more on the shot, but again, I keep saying it, Michael, when Charles gets the ball, things can happen.
Quality goalkeeping from Lukas Hradecki. Long throw now by Kieran Brown, headed away by the Finns. Chasing back is Shea Charles. feeds it back to Kieran Brown, who scoops it into the path of that man Conor Bradley by the right-hand corner flag. 2 defenders in front of him, wins the throw-in off Jensen.
Yeah, he done well with two defenders facing him. Does well to win the throw-in because he had nowhere to go at all.
This is Kieran Brown winding up, I think, for the long throw. Up that slight incline towards the...
Well, I think we're outnumbered in terms of
Kieran
height.
Brown launches it towards the near post, headed away by the Finns only as far as Jordan Thompson. Bounces high in the air, and the Finns will just loft it into the path of Teemu Pukki. Controls it on his knee and down under the challenge to Conor Bradley, and Bradley can't believe it. I think he's worried he's going to get a yellow card, but it was purely mistimed, and he makes that point to the referee. Pukki is going to just rub both knees, both shins, waste a little bit more time because we've played 45 minutes.
I think he's actually won the ball, Michael, and it's for the follow through that caught Pukki. I think the way he's given the free kick to Finland.
Is there a board being shown yet?
I haven't seen it, no. I haven't seen it.
No, there were exactly 15 additional seconds played at the end of the first half. So Northern Ireland have had a few early chances, but then the Finns scoring with their first real threat down that right-hand side where they found a lot of joy. The squared ball, a little touch on by Pukki, found Benjamin Chelman, who just scooped it wide of Billy Peacock Farrell into the bottom left-hand corner of the net. Probably the best chance to equalise fell just seconds ago to Dion Charles, but he was denied by Radetzky. What is Michael O'Neill going to say at half-time, John O'Neill?
I think he'll be disappointed because I don't think we've played at a high enough tempo. I think we've been careless with the ball, particularly when we're trying to play it into the strikers. Michael, I was a centre half, and my job was winning the ball and try and get it to play. If I was Brown, Ballard or Cathcart, my first thought was, if I have the ball, see where Shea Charles is and give it to him, because he can play and he can open defences up. He showed it 2 or 3 times on the passes, and we had half chances. Maybe the one with Dion Charles there at the finish might have got us an equaliser. I think that's the way forward. We've got to get more of the ball. We're allowing them too much room, too much space to pass the ball about, and if we can't do that, we're never going to get back into the game. But it's still wide open. I mean, I don't think they're a great side. I think we're making them look better than they actually are, and I think the game's still there for us, but we've got to get that first goal.
There you are at half-time here at the National Stadium at Windsor Park in Group H of European Championship qualifying. We shall hear from Jim Magilton. We shall hear from Tommy Wright in the company of Joel Taggart. But the half-time score here at Windsor Park is a disappointing one for the home fans on the occasion of Michael O'Neill's return. It's Northern Ireland 0, Finland 1.
Michael, John, thank you both very much. Yes, half-time thoughts to come from Tommy and Jim. But before all of that, let's get you the very latest BBC News.
BBC News NI on Radio Ulster and on BBC Sounds.
I'm Naomi Holland. Good evening. A 35-year-old man has been arrested after reports of an agitated man armed with a knife in Enniskillen. Police were called to a house on Deer Park Road at 12:30 today, but the man refused to leave the building. Armed response officers and a negotiator were sent to the scene, and police say the situation was then brought to a safe resolution. A gun has been found after police searches in Londonderry. They were being carried out by officers investigating the activities of the new IRA. The gun, which police say is in poor condition after being exposed to the elements, was recovered from the Kildrum Gardens area of the city today. A major incident has been declared in Dorset after about 200 barrels worth of oil spilled into the water at Poole Harbour. The Port Authority, Poole Harbour Commissioners, said the leak happened under Oars Bay. People have been urged not to swim at Poole Harbour or the surrounding area. Perenco, the company operating the pipeline, said the leak had been stopped and a clean-up operation was underway. Our correspondent Greg Mackenzie is following developments.
Companies specialising in oil spill responses have been mobilised to the area, and members of the public who have come into contact with the spill are being urged to go home and wash with soap and water. Now, the Environment Agency has said that it has received reports of large amounts of oil in the water and was supporting Poole Harbour in dealing with the incident.
The EU has joined NATO in warning Belarus not to host Russian nuclear weapons. The bloc said it would respond with sanctions if the plan went ahead. NATO has condemned Russia for what it called its dangerous rhetoric. Ukraine said the move would make Belarus a nuclear hostage and called for an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council. Olga Drindova from the think tank the Research Centre for East European Studies says opinion polls show Belarusians don't want Moscow's weapons.
The information that we have tells us that the absolute majority of Belarusian people want Belarus to stay neutral. Also, the absolute majority actually does not want any Russian nuclear weapons.
And President Biden has declared a major emergency in Mississippi where a tornado killed 25 people. Federal government funds have been freed up to deal with the fallout. Jeff has the weather.
After evening sunshine to end the day, temperatures tonight drop away sharply under the clear skies. Lows close to freezing on the coast, down to -3 degrees inland. So a widespread frost with a risk of ice forming on untreated surfaces. After a chilly start, Monday is a dry, bright and sunny day, eventually clouding over from the west by late afternoon.
BBC News.
From BBC Northern Ireland on iPlayer.
We're back in the castle with 7 new cooks, all ready to battle it out using the best of our local farm produce.
We're looking at Dexter beef.
I never cook with red meat. It is not a strong point for me.
But whose menu will be judged the best and grace the table in the state dining room?
This is definitely outside my comfort zone.
Farm to Feast. Best menu wins. Watch all episodes on BBC iPlayer.
Sports Science International Football with Joel Taggart.
Yes, welcome back to the National Stadium at Windsor Park, where Finland lead Northern Ireland by 1-0 in this Euro 2024 qualifying match. Just had a lovely moment on the pitch where James Martin, the star of the Oscar-winning An Irish Goodbye, has been introduced to the supporters and presented with a shirt all of his own, a Northern Ireland shirt by Stephen Davis, who was out on the pitch. And he had a few words, of course, to say as well. It's the words that are being said in the dressing room, though, that'll be of most significance. What will Michael be saying? What do you think he'll have made of that, Jim, in the first 45 minutes?
I think tactically, I think that Finland's shape has dominated Northern Ireland's shape.
They've gone 4-3-3 and we're kind of 3-5-2.
Yeah, but it's kind of like 4-2-4. Joel, you know, they press really high, forcing wing-backs to defend high or deeper, which then allows their fullbacks to come and dominate the game, especially, and even in midfield. Schuler and Kamara have actually dominated our 3 in there, and we haven't been able to get close. And every time we've got close, they've bounced it from side to side, right? And they've switched the play, and then they've created a 2v1 situation against wing-backs, and kind of that's where the goal came from.
And it's funny, isn't it, Tommy, because there's a chance early in the game for Northern Ireland, the one that the Finnish defenders kind of go to sleep, and Thompson's alive and he just can't pick out Washington and they clear the danger. There's a little bit about the goal that actually comes for Finland. The ball kind of is fired across the goal, comes off somebody's foot and it's poked in at the back post, and when your luck's in, sometimes it's in, and when it's not, well, that's what happens.
Yeah, I mean, the problem for Northern Ireland is, you know, a 3-5-2 against a 4-4-2 or 4-2-4 is that when they're in possession, they'll always all out numbers in the wide areas, and they've done that well. They've switched the play well, but the balls went into the Finnish players' feet, and Jordan Thompson, he's a wee bit unlucky, but for me, he's just a wee bit too tight in the box because he can't really go and nick that or you know, afford to maybe give away a penalty. So, and then it takes a wee nick off him. They get the cross, quickly goes to hit it, misses it. We both think, you know, Jimmy, we think that Ballard could maybe react a wee bit better. He just sticks out a leg and doesn't get to it, and the lad gets the finish. So it was a little bit of luck involved in the goal. I mean, Finland have had one other chance. I mean, they've dominated possession.
The Pookie double chance.
Yeah, they've 65% possession to Northern Ireland's 35. And we sort of expect that with Northern Ireland. But Northern Ireland have had good, you know, the best chance of the game when the great play with Shea Charles has been magnificent. Yeah. I mean, particularly, and we need to get him on the ball, as John said in his commentary. And he links up well with Conor Bradley. Great pass for Dion, and he just doesn't get a really good enough. Tell you what, it's a great save, but I think, you know, as I said to Jim, if he gets more power in it, the goalkeeper can't make that save.
We'll get one midfield maestro to talk about another then, Jim. But I mean, charge in the middle of the park. Any time that a Northern Ireland player decides not to give him the ball when he's an option, you're throwing your arms in the air, aren't you? You're kind of saying, if he is available, just give him the ball.
Yeah, and
he makes things happen.
He really does. He's been magnificent in possession.
Technically, he's
magnificent.
Unbelievable.
Honestly, from the first seconds in the game, has demonstrated his technical ability. He gets away from people. He knows he's aware of space. He's aware of
the weight of a pass
around.
when he puts somebody in.
And that's a calmness for a 19-year-old. You very rarely see that. And every time he does something, you're always thinking, he's going to create something for us. So we need to try and do that. But as John had alluded to in commentary, it's difficult when they press high. You have to have courage, even early on when then Ballard's passing it to Peacock Farrell. When that happens, he's got to look further afield, because then he can drop it into Connor Washington. Now, your problem is with Connor Washington and Dion Charles at the moment, everything's bouncing off him. So you don't have a platform to go and play, in particular, Dion Charles. And listen, we know that about him, because outside the box, he isn't brilliant. Get him inside the box and he'll create havoc. Hence, the opportunity he gets. Tommy, I can't believe Tommy isn't eulogising about the goalkeeper. Now, I agree that, but I'm thinking he's got to have a little bit more guile and just dink it. I think this is a dink, but Tommy believes it's a bit more. Yeah, listen, 6-1. At the end of the day, it was great play, and we need to see more of that. Bursting from midfield, Shea Charles. Connor Bradley's been brilliant too. Connor Bradley, the two 19-year-olds have really set down, that the tone for Northern Ireland whenever we've had the ball.
It's much more difficult on the left-hand side of the pitch, isn't it, Tommy? Haven't seen as much down in there tonight.
Yeah, I mean, but Lewis is
his best moments have been defensive moments, haven't they?
And he has tried to get forward, but sometimes in games you find that the play just comes down one side. But there seems to be a good understanding between Shea and Connor. But the two strikers, Jim's touched on it. Their strength is running in behind and running on to things. So we need to try and find a way of getting the ball higher up the pitch and playing little balls down the side for them to go on and run in behind. Listen, it's a pretty even game. There's not a lot in it. They've had that little bit of luck with the goal, but Northern Ireland are very much in it. And I think, Michael, we talked Willie tweak it a little bit, because we have been giving up maybe too much possession, particularly at home.
Yeah, because there's been other nights when we've sat here, Jim, and you're looking at it and you're saying, in terms of the opposition, they're unbelievable. They look brilliant. Or you're looking at it and you're saying, we've been brutal.
Yeah.
Hasn't been like that.
No.
They're okay. They don't look brilliant. Bar the goal, we've had probably more good moments than bad.
Yeah, they're better opposition. You can clearly see that in possession of the ball. They're good players. We've allowed probably too much space, especially the two central midfield players, to dominate the game. And I think that we'd have to do something about that. Michael may tinker with the system. He may go 4-3-3. And again, a system that he has adopted in the past. So it won't be anything foreign for the players. No. It's not as if you're going to go down around and say, right, well, we're going to scrap everything and we're not going to do this. The players understand both formations. And he can do that area that brings on players.
Kevin White or something.
Yeah, or he adapts to the players who's already got in there.
Other results and latest scores. So in this Group H, it's 2 results so far tonight. If you missed it, Kazakhstan came from 2-0 down against Denmark to beat them 3-2, which has kind of blown the group wide open. Slovenia beating San Marino by 2-0. England have beaten Ukraine by 2-0. That's a result. The other game in Group C, Italy lead Malta by 2-0. And in Group J, Iceland won 7-0 in Liechtenstein. Portugal are 4-0 up at half-time against Luxembourg. Ronaldo scored another 2. And Slovakia lead 2-0 against Bosnia-Herzegovina. The other thing we have to talk about, and listen, people who listen to Sportsound maybe on a regular basis will think, here he goes again. But I have to say, Jim, the pitch is an absolute disgrace. If we turned up somewhere else as the away team and were playing on that surface, you would be absolutely hammering it and saying how unfit it is for an international game of this level and this standard. And it's not as if it's the first time. It just seems to be a recurring thing.
Yeah.
It is shocking.
For an international match, it's absolutely brutal. There's no question about that. And you can see how hesitant players are, you know, I haven't seen too many players take, pass it one touch. Everything is 2 touch, minimum 2 touches. So it makes it difficult, and you have to watch the ball under your foot, etc., etc. It just seems really wobbly. It's not I wouldn't say it's in international class pitch.
I mean, Tommy, how the powers that be are sitting down below us in the comfy seats, and they're looking at this, and they're not embarrassed that this is the playing surface that we have served up for the first game in a qualifying campaign. I mean, they should be embarrassed.
Yeah, but they've never played, and they probably think it's green, and that's it. They don't have to do it. I mean, nowadays you don't actually see. Normally, I mean, you can see the brown areas in the goalkeepers. You don't always see that in pitches. Top quality pitches. The pitch needs investment, Joe. That's what it needs. It needs. They
keep telling us that they keep relaying it. They only relayed it at the start of last season for the Super Cup.
Relay it, but if you don't get the heat lamps and maintain it, what you got. I mean, that has to. I mean, you see the games in England when they finish and people are going to be interviewed. The heat lamps are on the pitch right away. I mean, they're obviously not spending enough money on it.
To be fair, Tommy, I did see a fella with a blowtorch before the game.
Right.
There was a fella with a blowtorch.
But something's not right. For this to happen repeatedly, something can't be right. Anyway, we'll talk about that, I'm sure, again, because we've an Irish Cup final still to play on this pitch this season, and Linfield have a few league games still to play. And then apparently they're going to do some work to it before the game in June. Anyway, we're ready for the second half. John O'Neill and Michael McNamee.
Look, on the bright side, the last time the Finns were here, the bouncy broke the West Ham, John. Do you remember that?
I tell you what, I don't know about heat lamps. I could do me a few heat lamps up here. It's absolutely Baltic.
No changes to the 22 personnel who started the game. Peacock, Farrell in goal, Bradley and Lewis the wing backs, Ballard, Cathcart the captain, and Brown the defensive trio. Then it's McNair, Shea Charles and Jordan Thompson with Washington and Dion Charles up front. Radetzky in goal for the Finns, who are in white shirts with that blue cross from their flag on it, and blue shorts and white socks. Long ball played forward by the Finns has been carefully watched and guided out of play for a goal kick by Dan Ballard. Alho and Jensen the full backs, Väisänen and Ivanov for the centre backs. The wide men on the left, Suonen on the right, Lud, Kamara and Schuller are the two in the middle, with Pukki supported by goal scorer Chelman up front. Chelman got the goal in the 28th minute, and Billy Peacock Farrell got his fingertips to it, John. There was a succession of, I don't know where the pitch was involved, but mishits and not quite shots.
Yeah,
and
Pukki mishit it, and then Chelman himself actually mishit it. And
he turned well.
Yeah.
But he didn't get the contact I think he was probably hoping.
No, I think his feet went from him, and it was almost as if he hit it from one foot to the other, and it might have sort of put Peacock Farrell off. But
he did get his fingertips to it, couldn't prevent it from
going
going
just
into
couldn't
the
prevent
net.
it going in.
And on the ball is
but Michael, they've had more possession.
Long ball forward by Finland, chested down by Pukki on that far side. Ballard helps it back to Peacock Farrell, clears first time on his right foot, chested down by McNair.
I was just going to say they've had more possession, but at the end of the day, we've had 2 chances, they've had 1, and they scored. I mean, I don't think Peacock Farrell says the goals had a shot. They haven't had a shot.
Nope. There's a late challenge, I think, on Dan Ballard on the far side. He's getting back to his feet somewhat gingerly. Ball's out of play on that far side. Ballard just feeling his right leg, right thigh. Having a word with his captain, Craig Cathcart. Cathcart winning his 71st cap, putting him alongside one Michael Hughes.
Oh, well done.
Won the ball back, Northern Ireland on the right hand side. McNair into the path of, well, a late challenge on McNair. There should be a yellow card. Is that Jensen, the left back?
Yeah, it was a late challenge.
Was indeed. And Richard Jensen.
Oh, that was a nasty one. It really was. It's caught him high, I think, on McNair. On the shin as well.
Oof. Just seeing the replays.
Yeah, he was lucky there, McNair.
He was 27 on St Patrick's Day, Richard Jensen. Paddy McNair still playing with that protective mask, clear mask on his face. Northern Ireland free kick in the 3rd minute of the second half. Jordan Thompson from the right hand side. It's not a great one.
It's awful.
Absolutely awful. Kamara, and Kamara will come away with it. And there's a handball there, says the referee. So
yeah, again, I think it's come up off the pitch off Kamara.
Ballard's in trouble here. Ballard's down again. We're looking at, who are we looking at? Trey Hume, Owen Toll. If he has to go off, or a rejig putting McNair into the back four.
Possibly they could go to 4-3-3. The lads were sort of mentioning at half time. I think he's done his hamstring, is it? Or is it? It looks like it might be his hamstring or his thigh.
We're just seeing that was a Kamara plays it with
it's more like
arm.
The top of his shoulder than the arm, isn't it?
No, we don't see Ballard go down, but I don't know that he's fit to continue, John.
No, I don't think he is. He seems to be holding the back of his leg.
So the 49th minute, there's going to have to be a change.
Trying to see who's coming on there. I can't see over the stand here, Michael. Used to be able to see the dugouts and get an idea, but can't see anything.
It's Josh McGuinness.
Josh McGuinness.
So how is that going to change it? Ballard is receiving applause as he makes his way off the pitch.
He spoke to Paddy McNair. Michael Neal spoke to Paddy McNair on the touchline there, so I don't know if he's told him to possibly go into the back three after.
Or do we go to a back four?
Possibly a back four. It's hard to say because we're actually on the edge of the 18-yard box now for a free kick.
So Josh McGuinness wins his 71st cap and goes alongside Craig Cathcart and Michael Hughes. Got that 92nd minute winner against Kosovo in the Nations League. 4 of his 10 goals have come as a substitute. Thompson chips the free kick to the far edge. The set pieces have been poor, and there's a challenge on a Finnish player. Clash of heads, I think, possibly accidental. And is it?
It's Jensen, I think.
It's Jensen, the guy who's just a yellow card. Was that retribution?
I think it might have been just a clash of heads, Michael.
We're going to see the replay now. Yeah, it's just
him and Brown's headed one another.
A sporting incident, an accident. Brown on.
Yeah, it looks like McNair's gone to right back. Lewis obviously will play left back. And they go 4-3-3.
So the instructions are being given from Michael O'Neill and his team. So McNair is back doing defensive duties for Northern Ireland. And a word from McGuinness to Captain Cathcart. So it's changed.
Yeah, it's it looks like it's Bradley, Charles and Thompson.
Josh McGuinness got the last 23 minutes against San Marino. Hasn't been playing very much football. There's going to be a change. I think is Jensen going to have to come off. And Patola, who is a left back. Ishad O'Connor Hazard. He's won a league title with him at HJK last season. So Matti Peltola comes on for his second cap to play at left back in place of the dazed and possibly concussed Jensen. So a change in each side at the start of the second half. Northern Ireland trying to work that ball down the right hand side. It's drifted out of play. All those substitutions, I think, in San Marino rather disrupted Northern Ireland's bid to get more than the two goals, but it did give game time, and Michael O'Neill's talked about that. It's not game time now, it's a goal they need.
They need a goal.
We've played 7.5 minutes in the second half. Finland still leading by a goal to nil. Vital interception by Brown on the far side, hooked upfield by Northern Ireland, flicked on towards Josh McGuinness. McGuinness on the right hand side does very well. Cross coming in from the right hand side. Laws just beats Connor Washington at the back post and goes out of play.
I mean, I think Washington's crossed that ball far too early. He's got a lot of space in the 18-yard box. Why he doesn't sort of drive into the 18-yard box. I mean, I don't know what he's doing there. He should go straight for the goal.
The cross was coming in from Dion Charles on the right hand
Dion
side.
Charles, yeah.
Looking for Washington at the back post. That's a terrible slice by the Finns. Let it bounce, Josh Washington, for the throw-in. He does that. And interesting, Washington doesn't go as the long thrower. He will go and threaten the goalkeeper as Kieran Brown is going to launch this into the penalty area. So Washington is in there on the penalty spot. Captain Cathcart's there. There's 3 men on the 18-yard box as Kieran Brown throws it in. Here comes Radetzky, punches it convincingly as far as Lewis. Gets it back to Kieran Brown. It's on the Northern Ireland left. Lewis has made the overlapping run that's hoisted out of play by Alho. Northern Ireland fans think it's going to be possibly a goal opportunity, possibly an equaliser.
Well, this is better. You know, we're putting them under a little bit of sustained pressure.
Another long throw going to come in from Kieran Brown from the left-hand side. Looking for Captain Cathcart. Bounces dangerously inside the penalty area. That's really rough defending by Finland. Out as far as Conor Bradley on that right-hand side. Here comes Dion Charles, almost acting as a right winger now. Wins the throw-in.
Yeah. He's done well. You know, the defender's done well, closed him down. Hasn't given much room. Peltola. But again, another throw-in was about 5 or 6 yards from the corner flag.
And Conor Bradley just lobbed the ball and bounced it in front of Kieran Brown, who dries it on his number 22 jersey. 10 minutes gone in the second half. Northern Ireland need an equalising goal here against Finland. Kieran Brown winds himself up, launches it to the near post. McGuinness is in there. It's going to bounce once into the hands of Radetzky.
Yeah, it's just a little bit too close to the goalkeeper as it's come down, and there was no reaction from any of the green shirts. You know, McGuinness didn't get much of a head on it, but it's just dropped, and it's just dropped in favour of the goalkeeper. What a terrible goal kick.
Not a good one for Radetzky. Headed forward by Thompson to Connor Washington, who is tackled by Kamara. He surely handled that ball when it was on the ground. Play on. Chelman out to this right-hand side. Lud beats one, doesn't beat Lewis. That was, well, the referee assistant didn't know who it was for, but Northern Ireland took it quickly. And it's back with Craig Cathcart. To Kieran Brown on this left-hand side, deep inside his own half, chips it up towards Washington. Can't prevent the ball from going out of play. Took a touch off Alho. That'll be a Northern Ireland throw-in. Michael O'Neill pacing his technical area. Hands
yeah, he must
pockets.
be pleased, Michael, with the start. You know, we've played with a little bit of injection into the game, playing a little bit more pace.
Throw in. There's a little shove in the back by Alho on Washington, but it falls into the path of Josh McGuinness, who does well to wriggle free and get the ball to Lewis. Cross from the left, on the left-hand side, down by Bradley. Whoa, over the top from Josh McGuinness from 10 yards out in front of the penalty spot. And that was an opportunity, and well worked. Lewis on the right-hand side, the left-footed cross. It was nodded down by Bradley and swung over the top by McGuinness.
Yeah, he just couldn't get his foot above the ball, get his knee above it. Good play by Bradley to win the header at the back post. And it just bounced too high for Josh and just couldn't keep it down. But it's a good start.
Strong defensive. Oh, Kieran Brown's now gone down. He's been like absolutely clattered as well. Northern Ireland could be running out of centre-backs at this rate.
No, he's made it tougher stuff. I'll bet he gets up. There he is.
He's old school.
I tell you what, he's done extremely well since he's got into the side. He's, you know, he's made that left side.
He's taken a bad whack, John, I think. Let's look at the...
Oh, he has right on his nose, the top of his head.
Chelman. But he bounced back up.
Yeah, he was straight up, you know, straight up.
Rubbing his hands, and I want to continue here. No mucking about.
Looks like we still have the 3 at the back, Michael, and we're playing more like a 3-4-3 according to Tommy here, with McNair just replacing Ballard as the back 3 and centre backs.
Brown has to go off to come back on again. Schuller is receiving treatment 2 for Finland, and he's about to come back on wearing 11. Kieran Brown wearing 22 for Northern Ireland. We've played 12 minutes, an eventful 12 minutes at the start of the second half. Both teams are back to 11 men. Finland still leading through that 28th minute goal from Benjamin Chelman. Chested down by Pukki, not accurately though. Forward by Bradley, asking an awful lot of Dion Charles. Goalkeeper's under pressure, clears left-footed, does Radetzky. Up towards the halfway line. Lovely touch by Pukki, playing it into his teammate's path soon, and on that left-hand side, Bradley spectacularly being pushed to the ground. And that'll be a free kick.
Yeah, Bradley does brilliant there. You know, he gets his body in front as a, you know, I think it again is it, who was it there? Suanen invites the foul and gets the free kick.
I think the advantage was played as the ball was back with goalkeeper Peacock Farrell, but Lewis has given that one away, and Kamara just evades Shea Charles in the middle of the park, gets it out to the replacement left back Peltola. Kamara on the halfway line for Finland. Here they're back, just playing the possession game. Kamara toying with Shea Charles, who's trying to get his foot in, and he does well.
Yeah.
But Finland have possession with the blonde head of the left back. Is that out of play on the far side? Kamara's down under the challenge from Conor Bradley, wins the throw in. He doesn't mess about. Conor Bradley, brilliant. Finds Shea Charles with a throw in, back with Bradley on the right hand side. 14th minute of the second half. Dion Charles twisting and turning, loses the ball as he twists too often, and the ball is cleared. It might break into the path. Kieran Brown doesn't know whether to stick or twist. The ball's played through for Pookie to try and chase onto. Paddy McNair back as a defender now, of course. Gets the ball to Bailey Peacock Farrell, who feeds Jamal Lewis. There's a sense of urgency about Northern Ireland's play.
Yeah, good play by Paddy McNair to, you know, tidy up at the back, gets it to Peacock Farrell, and he immediately plays it outside to Lewis here. It's a pity though we've having to go back again.
And that momentum just for the moment has calmed down with Kieran Brown playing it upfield with his left foot. It's not kept in by Conor Washington.
It was a tough ball, you know, to Washington to try and keep in. He just couldn't control it. It's gone out for a throw in. I mean, the difference being, if you look at the ball that's going into Washington or going into Charles, it's not sticking. And look at the, you know, the touch from Pookie every time it goes into him.
Northern Ireland have won the ball back. Good work by Kieran Brown to get it to Washington. Pokes it towards it. Was a adventurous ball looking for McGuinness from Washington. Lewis trying to put the challenge in. That was a fair one, yep. Wins the throw in for Northern Ireland on this near side, halfway inside the Finland half in this dry March evening in South Belfast. Finland leading Northern Ireland by 1-0 in European Championship qualifying. That was a poor one by Kieran Brown, putting his captain under pressure. He's accidentally caught Timo Pukki. He's rolling about, but he's getting back up. Northern Ireland pressing with Conor Bradley on the right hand side, edge of the penalty area. Can't get the ball past the left back, wins the throw in.
Yeah, again another storming run by Bradley. He tried to put it into Dion Charles, but couldn't get it past the first defender. Craig Carter did well there, Michael, because that ball from Kieran Brown sold him short a little bit.
Here comes the cross on the right, side footed away by even off the big defender.
That's surely
Shea Charles down under pressure, but the Finns might break here, and the ball falls very kindly for Suanen on the left hand side, but challenge beaten, strong challenge by Craig Cathcart, headed forward by Bradley, looking for McGuinness, and slashed out of play by Evanoff. The home fans think the sort of hands of the clock are now pointing towards Northern Ireland. It's swinging towards them. There are two footballs on the pitch. The referee can't let this continue. The additional ones put out and off the playing surface by Paddy McNair. Lewis on the left hand side, Alho in front of him, gets it to Thompson, chips it looking for McGuinness, down to Washington, chests it down. Washington was back to goal, trying to find McGuinness, stabbed forward by Bradley. Washington controls it on his chest. Here comes the cross from the right hand side, flicked and over the top by Josh McGuinness again. The flick from Dion Charles and over the top. It must have taken a touch off a Finnish defender. It's a corner kick.
Yeah, it's a great ball in again from Bradley on the right hand side. I think Charles actually misses this, and it takes the Finnish defender by surprise and went over the bar.
Nearly an own goal by Iisanen. He didn't know much about it. He was lucky there. Here's McNair with a corner from the left hand side. 28 minutes left to play. Right-footed, curling towards the goalkeeper, flaps out, it must be in, and Dion Charles has done it again, but there's a handball and it won't be allowed. Now will we go to VAR? Dion Charles might have scored.
Well, they're checking it anyway, Michael, but I don't know who says handled the ball.
I think it must have been Charles himself. There's not too much of a protest, you have to say, from Northern Ireland, and we'll see it again on the replay. Corner comes in.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Have another look.
I don't see that. I don't see it.
The referee's being instructed. Dion Charles is indicating to Josh McGuinness how exactly he controlled the ball. Radetzky's preparing to take the free kick.
I don't think.
And there's something been thrown, a plastic ball has been thrown onto the pitch.
Yeah, you've given it, but
which is not going to be great.
I'll tell you what, I couldn't see it.
Check over and no goal. And the Slovakian referee is telling Dion Charles that you handle the ball and controlling it.
What were you saying about VAR, Michael?
Still 1-0 Finland. Long ball played forward, looking for Josh McGuinness. Now Dion Charles beat the defender. He's going to hit it and smashes it into the cop stand away to our left.
Yeah, it's just too anxious, you know. He's in loads of room again. We're just seeing this again. I still can't see it. Oh yeah, on that one you saw it, Michael. That actually came up. Probably the pitch has bounced it up off him, and it did hit his arm. But then that chance again, the fullback falls, Michael. He's got loads of time and space. I think he's just trying to take on the shot too quickly.
Clearance upfield by Radetzky. Schuller wins the header. Now there's a man down as Jordan Thompson. Free kick is going to be... Well, it was an attempt to take it quickly by Shea Charles. It's inside the Northern Ireland half.
Yeah, they're trying to slow the pace of the game down now. This is the best spell Northern Ireland have, and they're playing with a little bit of pace and a little bit of momentum.
Played short to Brown on the left. Long ball should be easily cut out by Vaisinen. Nodded forward by Paddy McNair. Shea Charles gets all tangled up with Kieran Brown, who's gone down again. He's down in a heap once more, clutching his face, but play continues with Conor Bradley beating one, edge of the area beating two, nearly beating three, running into a white wall and collapsing to the floor, but play on, says the referee. Kieran Brown is back on his feet.
Yeah, there was just one too many defenders there for Bradley.
It's a frantic battle now, John O'Neill.
Yeah, it's a game now.
Now Thompson has found Bradley. Bradley has got the ball past the left back, but eventually Finland tidy up possession deep inside their own final third of the pitch.
Well, momentum is everything, Michael, and it's now swung in Northern Ireland's favour, and they just try and got to keep it going.
Nice ball by Ivanov, but he's overstruck it.
Yeah.
And Alho can't prevent it from going out of play. Northern Ireland have to keep going, have to keep this pace going.
Yep.
Jamal Lewis with the throw in on this near side. 20 minutes gone in the second half. It's Northern Ireland 0, Finland 1.
It's a good response by Northern Ireland as they come out in the second half.
Northern Ireland, remember, have won all 3 competitive matches against Finland in Belfast. John O'Neill, did he even score a goal against them back in the...
I scored against them, yeah.
18-20. One of your 2 international goals.
Yeah.
Poor ball. It's coughed up possession to Lud on the right hand side for Finland.
Oh, good tackle.
Chelman has been robbed well by Jamal Lewis and Kieran Brown, who's feeling his nose after that additional whack. That's asking an awful lot of Jamal Lewis from Conor Washington.
Again, Michael, the balls, you know, that Washington and Charles are presenting to the midfield are just not good enough.
World Cup qualifier here at 84, won by 2-1. O'Neill brackets J and Armstrong brackets P. That's for penalty. Keith Rowland, his only international goal. First home qualifying victory for Laurie McMenemy in 1998. Yeah. And then 2 for Kyle Lafferty in 2015 and a 2-1 European Championship victory. Radetzky gets the ball upfield, header won by the goal scorer Chelman. Washington plays it nicely off the shoulder of Alho. Is that a handball by the right back? The home fans seem to think so.
Yeah, it's a handball if it's in the box, but it's outside the box it doesn't seem to be.
Header one by Brown. Little shove by Kamara on Thompson. Northern Ireland need a break. They've got the ball back, though. It's been presented to Conor Washington on the left-hand side. Washington will leave it to Jordan Thompson. Thompson links up with Lewis. Lewis back to Thompson, gets the cross in, has taken a deflection and might bounce into the path of eventually Conor Bradley. No, it doesn't. And he's wriggled free, the Finnish player away from Shea Charles up to the halfway line. This is good.
Charles and Lewis did well to hold everything up there.
Who's taken a blow to his ankle, and Finland have possession deep inside their own half. We're into the final quarter of this match. Nice turn by Glenn Kamara of Rangers, winning his 50th cap this evening.
Bradley looks really tired there, trying to get back, Michael. He looks really tired.
If Finland can get a second goal here at Windsor Park, that will be that. And they're breaking down that left-hand side, squaring it, trying to square it into the path. There's a Finnish player down. It's Kamara. He's getting back to his feet, chipped towards Conor Bradley. Still 10 yards inside his own half. Bradley, all he can do is he's nearly falling over. His help with forward. It's getting a little bit frantic. Gavin White is about to come on. He's another super sub goal scorer. Northern Ireland have never lost when he has scored. 5 goals to his name. Gavin White got that goal against Kosovo off the bench. Now Jamal Lewis is trodden on the ball, giving possession back to the men in white and blue. Schiller across to Kamara, a couple of yards inside the Northern Ireland half, the Finland left. Gavin White getting final instructions from his manager Michael O'Neill. This will be his 30th cap.
Yeah, and the Finns have got the ball down now, and they're trying to slow the game right down again. Take the pressure
on
off
the right. Just helps it down that right-hand channel and put out of play by Kieran Brown, and a double change coming up for the Finns as well. Marco Force of Middlesbrough will be up against his teammate Paddy McNair in a second or two. So Conor Washington going off for Gavin White. Conor Washington has never completed 90 minutes for Northern Ireland. It's not astonishing
stat. That's amazing, yeah.
If that's wrong, Marshall Gillespie.
Suonen's gone off, Michael.
Sori is coming on. Pero Sori of HJK, winning his 39th cap. He's got 5 goals. Midfielder. So Pukki is off. And Suonen's going off as well. So it's Force for Pukki. And Suiri for Suonen. So Timo Pukki will not be adding to his 37 international goals tonight anyway. Led the line well. 20 minutes left. Finland have the ball on the edge of the Northern Ireland penalty area. Lud has evaded one, he's evaded two, he's got a deflected cross in. Billy Peacock Farrell clutches it close to the ground.
Yeah, he did well there to come out and take that off the foot of the substitute. Force has just come on. He could have scored there with his first touch.
Marcus Force, who's got 2 international goals in his previous 18 international appearances. Long ball played up towards Josh McGuinness. McGuinness bringing the defender with him, tussling, and the referee says that's an illegal bit of tussling by Josh McGuinness, and the home fans don't like that, nor does Josh McGuinness.
I think he's grabbed his jersey, and as the defenders moved away from him.
It was 6-1, was it not?
Yeah, but if you look at it here, the jersey's been pulled here, and that's all that the assistant referee sees, you know.
Free kick Finland far
jersey,
side.
You know.
So Gavin White is on for Conor Washington. Earlier, Josh McGuinness came on in the 5th minute of the second half for Dan Ballard. Kamara has the ball inside the Northern Ireland half. There's room here on the right hand side for Alho, chasing across.
Great tackle.
Brilliantly is Dion Charles. Fantastic stuff. Uses his strong shoulders. Here's Charles popping up on the left hand side, linking with Jamal Lewis. Gavin White's in an advanced position. Dion Charles going up towards the penalty spot. Thompson down under the challenge. That'll be a free kick in a dangerous position. Schiller's disgusted, thinks it was a fair challenge, and this is a test of the Northern Ireland set piece homework.
Yeah, well, it's what, about 5-6 yards outside the 18-yard box, and maybe 10 yards from the corner of the actual 18-yard box itself. So a good position if you get a good quality cross in. It's one of those ones you want to put in between the goalkeeper and the penalty spot, and hopefully, you know, somebody in a green shirt can get ahead on it.
18 minutes left to play. The Finns are leading by a goal to 0. Cathcart, the captain, is up. McNair's at the back post. It's going to come in from Jordan Thompson. It's from the Northern Ireland left-hand side. There's one man cutting off that route to the near post. Thompson, left foot, gives the signal, hangs it high, back post. Well, it doesn't find anybody. Eventually goes to Gavin White on the right-hand side. White, can he return the cross from the right? No, because the tackle comes off his shin, the ball comes off his shin, and another wasted set piece, John.
Yeah, we've got everybody up there, Michael. All White needs to do is just shift the ball, get himself a yard, and put it into the box. Have Finland weathered that storm a little bit? You've come back into the game a little bit, Michael.
Feels like it.
Yeah.
Goodness me, Frank Mitchell's here.
Still misses weather watchers, you know.
He's thinking he could have been between the sticks instead of BPF. McNair on the Northern Irish right-hand side. His attempted ball forward is blocked and put out of play. Bradley gets the ball back immediately from the ball boy on that far side in the sort of little moat area. It used to be the moat. Play continues with Kieran Brown.
Oh my
He's
God.
lost. He's given a bad ball to Cathcart. Opportunity now as Force has a shot blocked on that far side. Northern Ireland are tiring. Kamara here, a second finish goal, and that will be it. Kamara gets the ball back. Little bit of trickery on the edge of the area. Northern Ireland have got half a dozen green shirts back. Can the Finns get the ball in from the left-hand side? Peltola, the replacement left back, finds Schuller. There's another dozen acres of room for Alho, the right back on the right-hand side. Dion Charles comes across, ball played infield. Alho continues his run, and Dion Charles has been penalised. That's a bit unfair, and he's going to get a yellow card as well.
Yeah, I think the problem there that the crowd's reacting is that Allo goes down very, very late, but I don't think Charles caught him when he took that 1-2. Yeah, he's caught him in the back of the thigh, the back of the calf. But again, a simple ball to Craig Cathcart, and again, I just got to blame the pitch for that, Michael, because he's just taken his eye off it. It's bobbled over his foot and put us under severe pressure again.
Charles goes into the book. Kieran Brown was shown a yellow in San Marino. It's 3 yellows and then a suspension in these European Championship qualifiers.
Again, I'm not sure how much
getting treatment.
He's injured here, but they're certainly trying to kill the game.
It's been suggested that Marco Canerva looks like Bill Gates. He certainly looks like the school teacher he used to be. Glasses and a very studious sort of air to him, and he's standing with notepad and pen.
I just listen to the crowd, Michael. They're trying to lift Northern Ireland again.
15 minutes left, but they'll have to defend. Northern Ireland will have to defend this free kick from the right-hand side after that challenge that saw Dion Charles garner a yellow card. So the free kick is going to come in. It was it Force getting the treatment? Oh, no, it was Alho getting the treatment, wasn't it? And the free kick is going to come in from the right-hand side now. Charles and Thompson in the wall. Signal's been given. Here it comes from Lude, all along, deflected, and even off, slashes it over the top. It deflected. There was a frantic moment when Billy Peacock Farrell popped it in the air. Even off, wasn't expecting it, and he slashed at it and over with his right foot.
I'll tell you what, that is an unbelievable save by Peacock Farrell. It was a great free kick, put in a dangerous area. Frost gets it, swings at it, and almost a point-blank reaction save from Peacock Farrell. And as it comes out to even off, typical centre-half shot there, Michael, over the bar and into the stand. But a great save by Peacock Farrell, keeps us in the game.
Could easily have been 2-0.
Yeah.
There are going to be changes. Some of the youngsters, I think, are about to come on for the last 13 or 14 minutes.
Well, the game's opened up now, and I think either side at the minute is capable of scoring.
Kamara's lost the ball to Shea Charles. Drilled forward. That's a nice one on the far side. Opportunity now for White to cross, and he struck it towards the goalkeeper, and he nearly let it squirm into the net at his near post. That was not high-class goalkeeping from Lucas Radetzky.
Again, I think White should keep driving into the box. I mean, if that's a shot, it's a poor shot, but the goalkeeper's almost
nearly pushed it into the net. 13 minutes left to play. Northern Ireland about to make changes, but first of all, they're going to apply some pressure via this Jordan Thompson corner from the right-hand side, just teeing up the ball exactly how he wants it. He's going to swing it in, curl it in with his left foot. Northern Ireland need a goal against Finland. The Finns leading here at Windsor Park. Here comes the Thompson corner. Oh, it doesn't beat the near man at the front post, and a poor touch by Charles has conceded possession to Force. The two 19s clashing. Force piling down that left-hand side, slots it looking for Kamara, and it's just put out of play. An exhausted Conor Bradley can't stop it from going out. And we're about to see George Saville, and we're about to see again, after his 8 minutes against San Marino, Everton's Isaac Price.
Yeah, Bradley did brilliant there to get back. At one stage, in the second half, I thought he was tiring, but he definitely made up the ground, and he needed to, because that was a great break by Finland after the mistake by Shea Charles on the edge of their box.
He didn't get very long as San Marino, but Isaac Price looked very tidy.
He does. He looks sharp, doesn't he?
Looks like a player.
Yeah, we've said that, you can see it right away. If a player comes on, you think, this guy's got something, and although it wasn't that long, we certainly thought he had a
Kamara's little flick.
Player.
Shea Charles has brought down Schuller, who's made the most of it. Free kick to Finland inside the Northern Ireland half. And we're going to see Jordan Thompson coming off to make way for Saville, like for like. This would be a nice night to see George Saville score his first international goal, wouldn't it? And Shea Charles coming off, he's a class act. And Isaac Price coming on. This is the future for Northern Ireland, John.
I think it is.
There will be bumps along the road,
it might be just, unfortunately, it might be just a little bit too soon for them in this campaign, but still, there's a long way to go.
Isaac Price wearing 13, we so often have seen on the back of one Corey Evans, but he's one of Northern Ireland's. He's on the injured list alongside his brother Johnny Evans, Stephen Davis, Stuart Dallas, Shane Lavery. Here comes the free kick from Lud to the back post, nodded away by Cathcart, hit on the volley by Schuller and blocked only as far as Kamara.
Cathcart's having a good game in there. I think the back three have played well, particularly Cathcart and Brown.
Looking for that ball out to the left hand side. At the moment it's been a good period of pressure for Finland, and it's winding the clock down. We've 11 minutes of normal time left to play. 1-0 Finland. Lud does well to wriggle free of challenges from Lewis and Saville. Side-footed ball by Cathcart. Dion Charles on the halfway line, popping up on the left now. He's got down on the challenge. That is a free kick. And why is Lud not getting shown a yellow? But the free kick.
Sorry, Michael. I think that's what Michael O'Neill is saying as well.
Jeremy O'Carroll making the same point, I think. Quickly taken free kick. Northern Ireland have the ball inside the centre circle. Played out by Cathcart out to the right-hand side. Little run now from Conor Bradley. Finds Isaac Price. This is good. Bradley gets the ball back. Bradley and just gets all tangled up a little bit. Ball getting stuck under his feet. He's prepared to have a go, Conor Bradley.
He looks out on his feet and then all of a sudden he just finds an extra gear.
Looks like Conor Bradley's playing at right back now, and McNair's gone back into midfield.
Yeah, it looks more like a 4-4-2, possibly now 4-3-3 again.
So you got Lewis, Brown, Cathcart and Bradley now across the back. Clearance by Radetzky, header won well by Isaac Price. Volleyed ball forward by McNair, but the Finns have it inside the Northern Ireland half. George Saville tussling with Chelman, the goal scorer. It breaks on that left-hand side, and that's the substitute wearing 13, Soiree.
Bradley's brilliant.
And Bradley
again.
does well to prevent the corner.
Yeah, great play again. When he has to defend, the lad can defend, but my word, can he get forward as well?
Those Finns are enjoying themselves on the far side. They're clapping in unison.
Yeah, and they're taking their time over the throw-ins, over the free kicks, just trying to waste as much time as they can.
Throw-in, that's a foul throw by Peltola. And a side of play. I'm told the lyrics to one of the songs that they sang at Euro 2020 translated as, "Oh Finland is, oh Finland is, oh Finland is a lovely land. We have sauna, booze and axes. Oh Finland is a lovely land." Maybe loses something in translation.
Yeah, I'd rather Dion Charles.
That's another
full throw.
Has Peltola never been told how to take a throw-in?
I mean, that's shocking.
He does look about 12, mind you. That was even worse than the first one.
It was, wasn't it?
How do you play international football and you can't take a throw-in? Still, the ball is deep inside the Northern Ireland half. Bradley. He's whacked the young guy. He is exhausted, but he's
exhausted. Yeah,
he's keeping going, and he's won the throw-in. Level with his own 18-yard box. The far side, we've got 8 minutes of normal time left to play for Northern Ireland to find a late equaliser. They've done it before, but at the minute the Finns are applying some pressure. Kamara on the left-hand side. Can they get a ball in? They're trying to get away from Cathcart, and they've won the
Cathcart's done
corner.
Again. Yeah, great defending.
Against
one
Marcus
against
Force.
one, you know, he can't do anything. He's got to bide his time and makes a tackle and gets it out for a corner. And again, look, they're taking
Robin
forever
Lud
to get out there to take it.
Ambling in front of his own fans. He's being saluted and applauded and waved at. They're doing the bouncy now, the Finnish fans.
Yeah, we've got 7 minutes left plus stoppages, Michael.
This will be an outswinger from Lud from the left-hand side. Hangs it high, everybody's up, well headed away by Josh McGuinness.
Yeah.
Kamara outside the penalty area. Sorry, the substitute gets it back to the man who can't take a throw in. Peltola. Toe pokes it to this near right-hand side, where Chelman, the goal scorer. I haven't seen too much of him in the second half. That ball is out of play, and Lewis is continuing but it will be a Northern Ireland throw-in on this near side, the Northern Ireland left. Just seeing if there's any signs more.
Don't see
any more
down there at all,
substitutions.
Michael. No,
nope.
Don't see it.
Lewis is making not a great fist of this throw-in either.
Well, to be fair to him, he hasn't got a lot of options. There's not too many presenting themselves.
It was a legal one at least, but
yeah.
The Finns have got the ball back and they've won the throw-in off the ankle of Jamal Lewis.
Yeah, it's it suits them now. The ball's down in the right-hand corner here. They're not going to rush to take this throw-in.
It's just 2 wins in their last 15 home games for Northern Ireland, and at the minute they're 7 minutes away from the defeat here against Finland. Finns are doing all they can just to waste a little bit of time. They're down on that corner by the corner flag, hacked away by Northern Ireland. Nodded on, but it might deflect into the path of Dion Charles, and it's just evading everybody in a green jersey.
Yeah.
Kamara, a strong challenge coming in from Gavin White, nipping at his heels. It's back inside the Finnish half, but the man furthest forward in a green jersey, Charles McGuinness. Peltola, the replacement left back, has been caught, and that'll be a free kick challenge by Dion Charles.
Yeah, a little bit foolish there. He's going nowhere really, and makes it easy for him. Gives him the free kick and takes the pressure off him. Got to take a few chances now, Michael. I mean, whether it's 1 or whether it's 2, it doesn't really matter. But hopefully we can maybe get 1 chance within this last 5 or 6 minutes, and somebody take it.
On the balance of play of the last 10, it doesn't feel like it, John.
No, it doesn't. I mean, as I say, they weathered the storm.
The Northern Ireland half.
Yeah, they've weathered the storm and have started to get that control and get more possession of the game.
Northern Ireland throw in halfway inside their own half. 5 minutes of normal time left to play. Finland leading by a 1-0. Forward by Paddy McNair, but just volleyed forward by Ivanov. Kieran Brown hoisted high into the night sky here at Windsor Park, flicked away via the head of George Saville, hoisted forward by Finland. That's all they have to do, keep turning the ball rugby style.
Yeah, they're just knocking it into the corners.
Into the Northern Ireland 22, effectively. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're trying to... It's a free kick on the far side for the challenging Conor Bradley. Quickly taken, but the referee's not happy that Cathcart took it from the right spot. Cathcart gives it to Billy Peacock Farrell. There's room now on this left-hand side. Sense of urgency now. 4.5 minutes of normal time. There's going to be a double change by Finland. Poyapalo is going to come on up front, and Robert Taylor into the midfield. Lewis linking up with Isaac Price. Lewis, it's a
dive.
That's a dive for the Finnish right back, and Lewis has won a corner kick on the left. Robert Taylor, Finnish born. His dad, Paul, played club football in Finland, so he could have declared for England or Finland. I think probably Robert Taylor made the right decision to declare for Finland. Is going to win his 28th cap, and Joel Puopalo, hugely experienced, winning a 61st cap. He scored 13 goals and 10 goals this season for Venezia and Serie A B in 29 league games. So Taylor's wearing 7 and Puopalo's wearing 20.
One good cross now from McNair. Get Big Josh on the end of it.
And Puopalo's replacing the goal scorer, Chelman. McNair with a corner from the left-hand side, swings it on top of the goalkeeper, punches. Lewis with a volley, deflected away on that right-hand side. Dion Charles drills it back in. It's going to break for Conor Bradley. Bradley swings it to the left-hand side. Gavin White. Here's Paddy McNair on his right foot. Deflected cross. Cathcart with a header. Is somebody going to have a shot? Bradley's being urged ahead, and his first touch was terrible. He's been crunched outside the penalty area. That'll be a free kick.
We were lucky there. Bradley's first touch was poor, and Ivanov comes out,
cleaned him.
Yeah, but if he gets there without committing the foul, they had 3 men on the break there, and we were in trouble.
Well, those are the chances you got to take, John.
Yeah.
When you're 3 minutes left to play and 1-0 down.
But again, the balls, we can't get a decent shot on target. They always seem to be getting a foot in the way.
Is this going to be the one decent set piece of the night?
Automatically. McNair's on the right-hand side. Give it to him. Give it to McNair. He's wide open there.
Saville standing over the free kick. Chips it, looking for Brown. Gets a touch. And it's cleared by the Finnish defence. There hasn't really been a set piece that has produced a save out of Radetzky. It's all the way back with Billy Peacock Farrell.
Very cool, very cool.
2 minutes of normal time left to play. Northern Ireland trailing. Isaac Price is asking for the ball from Lewis, but he plays it long, looking for Josh McGuinness. Headed up forward by Price. Overhead clearance on the volley as Paddy McNerney scuffed it and dribbles wide.
Yeah, it was a poor clearance. It was up in the air and it was coming down to McNerney. He's about maybe 6 yards outside the 18-yard box, right in the middle of the goal, and totally mishits it.
It doesn't feel like it, John.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. The best chances we had were maybe that 15-minute spell just after half time. But as I say, Finland weathered that, came back into the game and started to take control of it again, and it's just been last-ditch efforts in the last 5 minutes, and it's one of those nights, Michael, it doesn't seem that the luck is going to be with us.
Just hoofed upfield by Schuller. Billy Peacock Farrell. Those wishing to beat the traffic are making their way down the stairs and through the exits. Josh McGuinness has won a header. Is there one last opportunity? Professor Taggart of the University of Footballology says there usually is. It doesn't feel like it at the moment.
No, it doesn't.
Northern Ireland are keeping going. We're into the last minute of normal time, waiting for the board. Back with Billy Peacock Farrell. He hits it long, left-footed.
Josh has got to win this.
McGuinness is up.
He's done it.
Wins the header, but it comes off the defender. It's up into the night sky, and it's going to fall for a fin. And that's well done by Puopalo, trying to get Lud underway on that right. It takes a deflection. That'll be a Northern Ireland throw-in, quickly taken by George Saville.
Last-ditch defended by Cathcart. He wins the tackle, and it goes off the fin for a throw-in. So we might get one last chance yet, Michael.
Cathcart still deep inside his own half. Those staying they believe there's going to be an opportunity. McGuinness doesn't win the header. It is played by force off Isaac Price, who picked this up.
7 minutes.
7 minutes. Those injuries, I suppose. The home fans are enthused by that. Lewis. Saville gets it in, nodded away. It's all just a little bit frantic by Northern Ireland.
It's a poor ball by Saville. He's got loads of time.
7 additional minutes and a stabbed out of play by the Finns on that far side.
Well, the fact that it's 7 minutes has actually got the crowd going again. I suppose it's given a little bit of impetus to Northern Ireland, thinking, well, there's still
time for Northern Ireland to win it, John.
Yeah.
Kazakhstan scored quick-fire goals.
Absolutely right.
The Danes scored a couple in quick succession on Thursday against the Finns.
We just need a little bit of quality around the edge of the box. We've been sort of snatching at everything, and it's understandable.
Ball forward by McGuinness, towards McGuinness, nodded down, trying to get Isaac Price in on goal. Lewis now with his back to goal. That's a handball surely by the Finn on this near side. That's tussling and a free kick won.
I think that was won by Michael O'Neill. I could hear him shouting from here.
Saville's on the ball inside the Finnish half. Dion Charles has got all mixed up.
No,
and it comes off a shin and out of play.
His first touch is poor, and it has been all night. I'm not sure it was Jim or
John,
Tommy
what
that made the
learned
point.
from Dion Charles? He's a finisher.
He's a finisher. He has to be inside the box. He has to be inside the box. And I think that's the difference in the two teams. Pookie is both a finisher, but he can certainly set it up, take a ball, under pressure, and keep the game moving.
We've played one of those additional 7 minutes. Finland are in no hurry.
No.
It'll surprise you to learn to take this throw in on their right-hand side. Sorry, eventually does. Lud, he's a chunky figure. He's thrown himself into every challenge this evening. He looks tired though as Northern Ireland clear upfield. Header won by Schuller on the halfway line, forward by Saville. Only as far as Schuller, who sliced that out of play.
Yeah, they've been scrappy in defending, but they've been doing enough, just to clear their lines.
They're shades of the Northern Ireland team of 2016.
Absolutely.
They work for each other.
Even in these last few minutes, they're still closing Peacock Farrell down, and putting their bodies on the line.
Now here's Lewis, the ball bouncing in front of him, 2 defenders around him. Jamal Lewis, 3 defenders now. Here comes George Saville, but he hasn't won the ball, and the tousled-haired Puopalo is scooping it out to that left-hand side. One of the other substitutes, Taylor, a lad with English father. Kamara. Finland slowing it right down. 2.5 of the additional 7 have been played. Forward by Schuller. Bradley will have to help this back towards Peacock Farrell onto his left foot. Kieran Brown's made himself available. Peacock Farrell goes the long route looking for Josh McGuinness, but he's been well beaten by Ivanov, who's given as good as he's got this evening up against Josh McGuinness in the second half. Conor Bradley infield to Cathcart, but he's still deep inside his own half. He hits it long, right-footed, looking for Dion Charles, who's taking a whack from Sori.
He's going to book him for that.
He's going to book him. The substitute, Paris Sori.
Yeah, I see it again on the. He deserved a booking that. He was late and high, but a good position again for a decent ball into the box.
By the law of averages, John O'Neill,
you've got to get around there to one of these, surely.
Right, we have played 3.5 additional minutes, halfway through the minimum of 7 to be played. The spray has been applied. There's one man cutting off the near post option. This free kick coming in from the Northern Ireland right. Saville and McNair over it. Cathcart's at the back post. It's a long line of defenders and attackers on the 18-yard box. In by Saville, an outswinger, another poor one.
Rubbish.
Isaac Price taps it back, hoisted forward by Conor Bradley. Everybody's waiting for everybody else. Here's Gavin White, infield to Saville. Is there going to be a moment of quality? McNair, that was a nice ball by Saville, but there are defenders in front of Paddy McNair. Gets it out to Gavin White, gets it in the penalty area. Flicked by Charles. Cathcart is a frantic stuff pinball, and if it breaks for Finland, they're going to score. But no, Gavin White tidies it up. Finds Lewis on the left-hand side. We've played just over 4 additional minutes. Lewis on his right foot. He didn't want to shoot on his right foot on Thursday night. Here's Gavin White with a low cross. Doesn't beat Puopalo.
I mean,
and
we're getting ourselves
in for the throw-in.
Sorry, mate. We're getting ourselves in great positions down here on the touchline, and we just can't get the ball into the box.
Thrown back to Billy Peacock Farrell inside his own half. Across to Conor Bradley. And this is McNair popping up on the right-hand side. Hangs it high. It actually bounces off the head of Gavin White, or of Dion Charles. He didn't know too much about it. Puopalo trying to slot it through. Billy Peacock Farrell is the sweeper keeper.
Well played. He's
and
well
here's
out of his
Dion
box.
Charles on the Northern Ireland left, on the halfway line. That's a first-time ball. That's a good ball. Saville on the left by the corner flag. He's got support from Jamal Lewis. Green shirts are coming into the penalty area. Lewis going to get the ball in. There's nobody there in support. He's twisting and turning. He's going round in circles. Jamal Lewis being told, well, he doesn't want to play it in his right foot. Gavin White on that far side. Conor Bradley, Cathcart. Saville's asking for it at the far post. Saville can't get on the end of it. It's just too high. And it skims off his trimmed haircut and out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah, it's shades of, the closing stages in the game against San Marino. We're getting ourselves in good positions, but the quality in the final ball into the box has been poor.
Just over a minute left to play.
Yeah, it was just, I mean, the ball to Saville to try and head across the box was overhead, way overhead.
Clearance by Radetzky. Header won by Isaac Price on the halfway line. Josh McGuinness needs game time, doesn't he? You can say that about a few of the Northern Ireland players.
Yeah, I would say that's true.
Free kick has been conceded by Northern Ireland.
In
and
the last minute, I think now, Michael, that seems to be it's gone, yeah.
We need a sort of Kyle Lafferty last second equaliser, don't we? Thinking back to that glorious campaign.
Yeah. I think Josh got one as well, didn't he? In one of the games was against Hungary or something.
We've seen a few
like
late goals in the Nations League under Ed Barraclough as well to beat Kosovo and get a draw against Cyprus. But the Finns almost playing for territory now.
Yeah, they're almost home.
25 seconds left of the minimum of 7. It's with Billy Peacock Farrell. Clears left-footed. The vast majority of the crowd obviously have stayed hoping to see an equalising goal. The ball's inside the Finland half. Kamara controls it. Bradley slips on a rotten playing surface here at Windsor Park, and that's out of place, taking a deflection. Northern Ireland throw. This is absolutely the last chance. There are just seconds left. Ball played up towards Josh McGuinness, nodded down. Here's Lewis. Side foots it into the path of McNair. Lewis gets it back. He's going to have to put this cross in. It's a low one. It doesn't find a green shirt. It finds Kamara. It breaks for Dion Charles, and Isaac Price has been penalised for the foul on Kamara. And that is it. And Finland have won a competitive match in Belfast for the first time in their history. They've won on the occasion of Michael O'Neill's return to the National Stadium by 1-0. It was scored by Benjamin Chelman in the 28th minute. And Northern Ireland have it all to do now in Group H, even after 2 matches. Their first win was against the whipping boys of San Marino, and suddenly Germany 2024 seems a long way away, John.
This was a big match for them. Obviously the two teams, there are not a lot to pick between them, and if you look at the chances, possibly Northern Ireland may have shaded on the chances, but we don't have that quality up front, we don't have that quality in and around the box, and it's going to cost us in games like this.
Dion Charles, big opportunity at the end of the first half, saved by Radetzky. We had McGuinness hitting the chance high over the bar 10 minutes into the second half. VAR ruled out that one from Dion Charles for handball. And the Finns worked their socks off.
They did. We had scrambles in and around the box, but they defended and got it clear. We were better in the second half, Michael, I have to say. We played at a much better tempo and put them under pressure. We sort of hinted at it a little bit through the second half. We've got good players coming through, but is this just a qualifying campaign too soon? They're going to have to grow up very, very quickly through this.
Next up, a trip to Copenhagen in June.
It's going to be difficult, but you never know with Northern Ireland. That's one thing. You can always guarantee that they're going to give you an effort. Can Michael work his magic? I don't think this side's anywhere near the side that got us to the Euros. I think they're lacking in experience, which will have to come. But having said that, Charles is a good player. Bradley's an exceptional player. We had Price coming on as well. Kieran Brown and Ballard. These are all players who are for the future. And again, you've got Craig Cathcart in there, who's 70-odd caps, who was outstanding.
Does this feel like, I know there are senior players to come back, but does this feel like a transition campaign?
I think our problem is and always has been, Michael, scoring goals. And I still don't see where the goals are coming from in this team, even with the players that have to come back. Johnny Evans will come back and strengthen the defence, maybe. We can get Stuart Dallas to come in midfield and do that, but we need a goal scorer, and unfortunately we just don't have it. I mean, we had David Healy scoring those goals all that time. We had Kyle Lafferty came in and scored goals at the right time and got us to the Euros, and I just can't see it there. I mean, like, how many times have we saw McGuinness, Charles, Washington and who else, and nobody seems to be able to come in and make it their own. We're crying out for a player like Pookie who can lead the line, who can hold the ball up and can score goals, and we don't have that quality in the team at the minute. You give Charles and Washington their due. They'll try 100% for you, but I just don't think we have that bit of quality where it matters most, and that's in the opposition's 18-yard box.
The break of the ball, a little bit of luck, it just wasn't there.
No, it wasn't. And as I say, sometimes the break of the ball, you need an experienced head, you need a player who can spot an opportunity, and get that goal for us. The luck wasn't with us tonight. There's not much to choose between those two teams, Michael.
Remarkably similar.
Absolutely.
Remarkably similar
on this
sides.
particular night, they got the goal, and that was the difference.
John O'Neill, thank you very much indeed. Further thoughts from Tommy Wright and Jim Mitchelton with Joel Taggart. Defeat for Northern Ireland, defeat for Michael O'Neill on his return to the National Stadium at Windsor Park. The Finns here have won in Group H by a goal to 0.
Michael, John, thank you both very much. Jim, we'll start with you. What did you think?
Overall, disappointing. I think there was a lot of excitement and obviously a lot of expectation around the game. There isn't much between the two teams. That was evident tonight. Obviously, the difference was the goal.
Northern Ireland could easily go to Helsinki and win 1-0.
Yeah,
that's the positive you would take.
Well, again, today's results have thrown that up. And it's thrown the group into that sort of scenario. Finland lose the game. Their first game, come here. You have to say it was a very disciplined, defensive display, littered with good possession of football away from home. 65%, I think Tommy quoted first half, possession of football away from home. That's a big percentage. So, disappointment. Positives are the young kids coming through. You have to say that they were, Shea Charles and Connor were outstanding again tonight. So, it'll give Meg a little bit of thought. He knew that what he was coming into. So whether that has, influenced him in a positive way or a negative way, we'll only have to wait and see.
Tommy, your assessment?
Yeah, very much. What Jim said. I thought, strangely enough, the injury, and we went to 3-4-3. We probably looked. That was our best period in terms of sustained pressure that we had against Finland, and we just didn't get enough quality into the box and Josh, he's leaning back on the one he blasts over the bar. Better technique there, and he gets a shot on target at least. We're unfortunate with the Dion Charge goal ruled off for handball. It is the correct decision, but it seems harsh, but that's what VAR, well, the referee actually gave it, and VAR just confirmed it.
Tommy, it's a great point Tommy makes. Dion Charles' chance, Josh McGuinness's chance, higher level goals, and at this level of game, Joel, they have to be taken, and if you take them goals, then you maybe hang on. At the moment we just don't have that. Josh hasn't played enough games, and that's always been something that has always been, attached to us.
And set plays,
it's the same thing about set plays. It's the same thing about the final cross when you're in the good position, the final third. All of that's about playing games and playing at a higher level.
We could see in the first corner they were trying to get Lewis in at the back post. I don't know if he was switched off or but the delivery just wasn't there tonight, and that can happen. It can happen with good players as well. We didn't make enough of those opportunities. I say I don't think we get enough quality in the box to really put them under pressure. I thought Ivanoff was outstanding for them. I mean, he won every header, and they're a good side. And you're right. We could go, if we could go away there and win 1-0. There wasn't a lot between the two sides. They got that bit of fortune with their goal, and once you're ahead and you're chasing the game, it's really, really difficult. But there will be positives. Michael knew what he was coming into. I mean, the boys said in the commentary it is, and fans are going to have to be patient. It is going to be a transition again, and it'll be a bumpy ride. But I look at, Conor Bradley, and he doesn't play in the Premier League. I mean, I know. He's Shea Charles at 19 hasn't played a league game. Hasn't played a league game, Joe. No. He's played under 23 football. Even Isaac Price.
They didn't really get him into the game in the second half, though, did they?
No, they didn't. But when we changed the system, he proved that when he went up against their two midfielders, he stopped there.
He can handle it, definitely.
He can handle it. And the thing I see about him now is from the first time we've seen him physically, and that'll happen through maturity as well in the age. He's getting stronger. He's not getting, but he's got a pass. He's got vision. He's comfortable on the ball. He gets out of tight situation. He's everything you want in a midfielder. So there will be positive. It is a results-based game. We know that, but it's Northern Ireland. There is going to have to be a rebuild.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the problem will be, and always will be, at that top end of the pitch, we need somebody to stick. And taking both your points, the Michael O'Neill sides were renowned for their quality of set piece and scoring goals from set pieces. Tonight we looked a pale shadow of that. The quality in the box was so bad, from players that you would expect to do more. Yeah.
And that's got to be, Michael will be disappointed with that, extremely disappointed with that, because he is a perfectionist and because he goes into each detail. And taking the Shea Charge thing, we had a conversation off the air there, talking about, is it beneficial for Shea Charles to remain training with Man City's first team, or does he go out and loan? Because he's playing with the best team, and potentially the best team in Europe.
Well, I don't know how much truth there is in it, but there was a story doing the rounds yesterday. I saw it tweeted that Borussia Dortmund potentially are looking at Shea Charles.
Take him.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Because
look at the
look what it's done for Bellingham.
Yeah, look at the done for Bellingham.
It's his quality, isn't it, Tommy, on the ball? And Tommy, again, is right. Like, when I saw both Conor and Shea, have not seen them throughout the summer, they've grown in stature, right? Physically, they've grown. Like, physically, in 1v1 encounters, at this level of the game, they were brilliant. Do you know what I mean? They were absolutely fantastic. Bradley never missed a tackle. Shea, under pressure, could shield the ball, could physically withstand pressure. Do you know, and it's hard to explain to people listening the difference.
You're the two people who have managed and played the game at the highest level, and you can tell me if I'm getting ahead of myself. But I look at Shea Charles and I think to myself, and you're saying how do you express to people how good he is? I look at him and I think he's good enough that you would take him to one side and say, listen, you're at the age, I'm going to build this team around you.
Yeah. Here's the thing, right?
Where do you find the other building blocks?
Well, that's exactly. The other thing is, he is such a laid-back character. He is so quiet, Tommy. He has to find a voice. He has to demand, because there were times in the game when he's in a really good area of the pitch and a really good position, he has got to scream, he's got to demand, he's got to curse at them, he's got to do whatever it takes for him to get on the ball, because when he's on the ball, he makes things happen.
So, I mean, if we're looking at this, Tommy, we're saying Bradley to continue his development, Charles to get some sort of regular football. Where does Isaac Price fit into this? How, you know, if he gets out and he gets decent football, is he another one with a bright future?
Well, that's the first time I've seen him. You know, I've seen that he came on the other night, but first time I've seen him live, and he looks comfortable with the ball. He physically as well. He was fine. You know, we're just going to have to be, you know, patient with him. I mean, you're right. You can say Shay Charles is going to get 100 odd caps for Northern Ireland. That's going to happen if he stays clear of injury, because Jim knows him, you know, personally, and if he's level-headed, he's at the right club. You know, think of all the midfielders at Man City that he's training with and learning with, and Man City will know when to put him out on loan. And I doubt very much they'll put him out to League One or League Two. They'll look for, they might look for a move abroad or something for him.
But we just need to find somebody to go out there and dig us out a centre forward now.
Dig us a Shay Charles, but can play number 9. And that's not taking anything away from
of course
Dion, and they work hard, and
Dion's had a great chance tonight, Tommy.
Yeah.
And again, you're not play. He doesn't play at this level every week. This is another level, and again, it's very hard to explain. Once you get into this level of the game, you get very few chances, as we have proven over many, many years. And when you pluck a Healy, you have a Lafferty who had that unbelievable run. You just need someone like the goal he got against San Marino, the first goal. And, you know, it was a brilliant finish, a controlled finish. It's a fantastic, because the ball's coming at 100 miles an hour for him. So he is showing signs at this level that he's going to get a chance. He's had chances in both games. He scored 2 against San Marino. He should have scored tonight. Josh is a gilt-edged opportunity. Josh should score.
Yeah, he's middle of the goal. Takes a good first touch, but just leans back on it, doesn't he? I mean, he
and the goalkeeper never had a really. He made one save second half, in the whole game.
And on the set plays, on the set plays again, the one decent ball in where we put them under pressure, unfortunately, the handball.
Yes.
You know, because that's a good delivery in with a man in front of the goalkeeper. Makes it difficult for the goalkeeper. Keeper does okay, but punches it down. And Dion, it just. I think it was the 6th picture before we were convinced it was a handball. But for the referee, he seen it right away and give it. So we've been a little bit lucky. You know, I've been here in Northern Ireland get beat, and I'm you know, and you could say we didn't do this, we didn't do that, but I think there was positives tonight. And
yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, are you leaving with more hope or more heart than perhaps you previously would have done after watching other previous defeats?
It's still clear to us, right? And we can't, you know, the Evans brothers aren't here, right? Dallas isn't here. Stevie Davis isn't here.
Shane Lavery
isn't here. So it's again evident, if you don't have your full squad of players fully fit, you may struggle at this level. And again, part of Michael's success was consistency in performance and consistency in selection.
You could pick the team before you walked in during that campaign, couldn't you?
And you fancied it.
Yeah.
Every time we go out here, we're thinking we're going to win the game, because again, you get, maybe it's luck. You do get, of course, you get lucky. You have to get lucky when you're picking, when you're selecting your squad and selecting then ultimately the team.
It keeps coming back to, if you take, and even the teams we played, you know, if we had a natural goal scorer, we reckon we'd have qualified for.
Yeah.
You know,
and if Dowie's listening to this, please don't take offence.
Sorry, Ian.
If you put David Healy in your team, you'd have qualified.
Yeah, that's it.
And do you know what? We might have even won the World Cup.
David.
Jerry Armstrong did.
Yeah. David didn't. David had a slow start and then had an unbelievable. And we qualified off the back of Kyle having a real purple patch.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
So that could happen again for Dion.
Yeah.
You know, that could happen. But we still don't have that person who can take 1 out of 2 chances.
Yeah. John, are you heading back over the Glen Shane with your glass half full? on the basis of what's coming?
I think so, Joel. I agree with the lads there that the young players were outstanding, and it's great to think that in this game when we were defeated, that it was the young players that gave us the most hope.
Because you could be driving up the road tonight looking at what's coming through and saying to yourself, jeepers, there's nothing coming through.
No, and we've been in that situation before, Joel, and we just couldn't see the end of the road for it. But was 58 when we qualified, and then it was 82 and 86, and then it was 2016. I'm just wondering,
will you still be alive by the time that was again?
But I'm just wondering, will it, are we expecting too much really too soon? Because it is a cycle. We are a small country, and we have to develop the players. We don't have that pool of players that other countries have. But we do have a lot of good experienced players to come back. But again, I think it always boils down to, and it always will, is if we can get a quality player up front to get us a goal or two here and there. That makes it all the more easier.
We have the lottery of the nightmare June doubleheader, Jim, which is Denmark away, Kazakhstan at home. I think it's the 16th and the 19th of June. The season finishes so late this season. I think is the FA Cup final in June, I think, this year. The Champions League final then is a week after that. It's like the 2nd, then the 9th, and then I think it's 16th and 19th, in and around that neck of the woods for the qualifying games. I suppose one thing around that is Michael will get a bit more time with the players, because he hasn't had a lot of time. A couple of days, 2-3 days, and then one day probably in between the two games for this double header. But I mean, we chatted briefly about this the other night. I think it's a lot to expect to have either the Evans brothers or Dallas or Davis there. I mean, I'd say two of them definitely won't be there, and the other two, the injuries have been so lengthy, it would be a lot to expect to see them. So it's basically going to be the same pool of players, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And again, I was making that comparison simply because, when we were so successful, it was because of consistency in terms of squad selection and then ultimately team selection. So, no, listen, when we looked at the squad and we looked at San Marino was always a win. We lose that game, we're in big trouble. So you always felt that this was always going to be the game, and again we're in the round in the coefficient, so it was always going to be very tight. But the two lads are absolutely right. Those moments in the game at this level are critical. They're just critical, and you have to take your chances. And we had two really good chances in a game of limited chances, and unfortunately we paid the price.
The Kazakhstan game here is massive now, Tommy.
Yes, it is, and I think overall in the group, I think if we can compete and be in with a chance of qualifying, I think, and I'm trying to be negative, I think that would still be a very good campaign with where this squad is at the minute, and you put half a dozen more caps on Charles, on Bradley, and Price, and maybe Dale Taylor will come in to score a few goals, in League One. So. We would hope and all love to think that we could qualify, but if at the end of the campaign we've had a right go at it and just failed and say got third, I still think it would be a good campaign for Michael and something for him then to build on.
Yeah, John?
Yeah, if you took this side is obviously nowhere near the side that qualified for the Euros in 2016, but if you look at Michael's first campaign, Joel, I think he's got a better group of players now than he did in his first campaign, where I think he only won one of the first, I don't know how many games, but I think this side is more experienced and has better youngsters coming through. So again, I keep saying, it might be a competition too soon, but see the double headers, Joel, we've said all down through the years, it doesn't suit Northern Ireland, it doesn't suit the smaller countries. And am I right in saying that somewhere along the line in the qualifiers for the World Cup, there's actually going to be a series of games where you have to play 4 games in 16 days or something crazy,
we did that, didn't we, during last summer, and we saw how much it stretched our
Absolutely,
squad.
And it's really not fair, but at the end of the day, FIFA and UEFA only want the big clubs at the finals anyway, which is ironic.
Hence extending the number of teams that are going to the next World Cup.
And ironically, probably the best games we saw in the last World Cup came from the African and the Asian nations.
Right, Jim has left us, and the reason why Jim has left us is because he's on the TV tonight. Yes, I'm shocked too. 10:30, the highlights are on BBC One. so you can watch the highlights with Stephen Watson and Jim Magilton. BBC 1 10:30. Other scores today and tonight, in case you missed them, in this group: Kazakhstan coming from 2 goals down to beat Denmark 3-2. Slovenia beating San Marino 2-0. So Slovenia on 6 points, top the group, 2 wins from 2. In Group C, England beat Ukraine 2-0. Italy beat Malta 2-0. And in Group J, it finished Liechtenstein 0, Iceland 7, Luxembourg 0, Portugal 6, and Slovakia 2, Bosnia-Herzegovina 0. That's about it from all of us. Thanks to John and thanks to Michael, our commentary team, for the game this evening. Thanks to Jim and thanks to Tommy for keeping me company. And next up, well, of course, this weekend it's the semi-finals of the Irish Cup. So there's a game, a live stream on the iPlayer and the BBC Sport NI website on Friday night. That is Larne against Ballymena United. And then on Saturday, 12:15 on BBC Radio Ulster and a live stream, it's Warrenview Park for Dungannon Swifts against Crusaders. So join us for those if you can. Disappointment tonight on Michael's return to Windsor Park. It finished Northern Ireland 0, Finland 1. From all of us, from all of the team back at base, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Very little left. You should listen to Good Morning Ulster, tomorrow morning. It's very good on a Monday.